Another wonderful, actually, it's a little cloudy out there in South Florida on TrentoVision.tv on the 19th of March. What is that? 4 days after the Ides of March. If you missed our Ides of March show, we showed you exactly how Caesar bought the farm from his senators.
According to Hollywood.
Et tu, Brute. But today we got a whole different subject going on. In fact, today we have just I don't know if it's a blunder or if it's by design, but we have an expose on a White House video, and we're gonna camp on this thing for a while. The White House, the United States President's house, the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, put out a video about a day ago that is unbelievable. If you're driving in your automobile, if you're at home, figure out how to hang with us from now till 6 o'clock. We're bringing an expert in to comment on the geography that seems to have been lost on President Obama and his administration, as they published a map that doesn't show Israel. And he's going to Israel. It's got a little piece of Israel, but not the whole thing. So we have an unbelievably interesting show dealing with either a massive blunder, which we don't think it is, but a very specific, by design, published for the Arab world, 1.3 million Muslims, an indication of where President Obama is going on his trip to Israel tomorrow. He gets there tomorrow. He's leaving tonight sometime. So, welcome everybody, and I'm going over to this camera now, right over here. You gotta watch me. I'm slippery. And hi, CJ. How are you?
Hi, Tom.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Yeah,
good,
lots
good.
of big news in the news today.
Oh man, we got all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, not a good day for the Marines.
No, we're going to talk about that in a second. But a good day to be settled in, whether you're at home or if you're driving on a long ride on WNN 1470. In fact, if you're driving in your automobile, you can listen to us from North Miami Beach all the way up to Orlando, and it's about 200 miles. So if you drive at, 65 miles an hour, you'll stay with us for the whole show. How about that? If you have to get out of your car, download your application on one of your smartphones, because you're a smart person and you have a smartphone, iHeartRadio. And you put that sucker on, and you can listen to us crystal clear digital audio. Or you can take your smartphone and go to YouTube, go to TrentoVision.tv, and watch all this stuff. You're going to want to watch, because we have several videos for you. We're going to dissect, analyze, deconstruct some of these videos, one in which is a White House video. And you can go to Tea Party Community. Let's wave to all our Tea Party Community friends. If somebody can check to make sure our friends are there. Okay, good. Everybody's
4x4 all the way around.
Everybody's there, and the audio's great and all of that.
4x4.
We have a visitor, an unnamed visitor.
Unidentified visitor to the bunker
A mystery
today.
guest.
A mystery guest, yes.
And a very, very good, close, long-time friend.
Yes. We do let a couple of people in the bunker once and a while.
After proper security procedures.
Yeah,
have
after
been
pat
performed.
downs and strip searches and metal detections, the bomb detection tests, we do let them in.
We're the
Yes.
TSA. We're the
Which
TSA.
is why the women really like coming to the bunker.
Trento Security Administration. And I have to do a mea culpa. Yesterday I spoke in a very positive, effusive manner about BizPac Review. Very good website. Jack Funari, friend of ours, doing marvelous work with business issues in Florida, national security issues, everything. And I hurt somebody's feelings because I didn't mention them.
Oh.
But today we will mention Dr. Rich Swire of Watchdog Wire.
WatchdogWire.com.
Our beloved Watchdog Swire.
Watchdog Swire, and we didn't mean it as a slight. It just
No.
happened to be that we were covering a story off of BizPac, and I didn't realize that we were going to be listing everybody we like, because
no,
then
no.
we would have taken up the whole hour, which
I
we
don't
were
like
already
him.
killing.
I hate
Right.
that Mr. Swire.
And,
No, I love Rich,
And-
and he is such an American hero, and
is.
he is a tireless activist, for
Warrior,
America, warrior
veteran,
for
the whole
Israel, everything.
All right, enough of that with Rich, okay?
Okay.
No, but Rich.
We love Rich.
We love Rich. Watchdogwire.com. Definitely go there. They got
And I guess he's feeling better too.
He's feeling
if
better,
He's
had a little,
starting to
a
complain again.
little medical. Big whiner.
He was quiet for a while.
Yeah. Rich the whiner.
That's
Okay.
right.
But we do love him, and when his publication has something significant, like BizPac Review, we'll talk about it. But
No, come on, you made it worse.
it always has significant stuff. It always has.
It does.
And we want to make sure that before we get into the Obama is nailed on the cross on this show today, before we get into that stuff, all kinds of symbolism there. Before we get into that, we want to mention on WNN, our flagship radio station broadcasting out of Boca Raton, Florida, you've got to listen to Steve Kane, Brian Craig, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. We know those of you who watch our show are early risers, and you're up and at 'em. Put on 1470 WNN every morning, iHeartRadio, or you can go to WNNradio.com and you can listen through the internet. There's a million ways. If people really want to listen, there's a million ways to listen.
Yeah.
But they lay the groundwork for revealing and exposing President Obama's flawed policies and simply seriously deadly policies. And then we pick everything up at 3 o'clock and put the nail in the coffin of that ideology for the day, like we will today. But for those of you just joining us, you're hearing about the show. Hey, this show's pretty interesting. We are. My name is Tom Trento, hosting Trento Vision, and I direct an organization we're all part of called The United West. It was originally Florida Security Council. It grew beyond the borders of Florida to Western civilization, or all the countries impacted by the West, the Greek and Roman logical thought, the Judeo-Christian worldview. All of this formed the Western countries, and we felt that the Florida Security Council was too parochial, too limited in its term. So about 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years ago, we launched The United West, uniting Western civilization against the Islamic Jihad that has declared war on the West, on America, on Israel. We're fighting an ideological battle, but the guys that put the uniform on are fighting a kinetic, a physical, a violent battle, jihad. And they die in theater, or they get wounded badly, but sometimes there's serious unforeseen mistakes like today, very sad situation. That happened out in California at the Hawthorne base. You have the latest on that?
No,
By chance? You do?
no, I don't. What happened?
Oh, you don't know?
I don't know what happened at all.
Okay. Oh, no, it's very sad.
Well, all the information isn't in. 7 Marines were killed during an explosion at Nevada's Hawthorne Army Depot. The early reports are that it was not due to exploding ammo. This is an area where they store and get rid of, old ammo. And so they're saying that is not what happened, but they're not saying what did happen.
Well, now I may have an updated one here. Now they're saying that the Marines, the 7 killed Marines and wounded many others,
Yeah.
the Marines were from the North Carolina base Marines, the 2nd Marine Division, and they were killed when a 60 millimeter mortar, that's a pretty big mortar,
That's a big mortar.
exploded during a live fire training exercise. So they're preparing to fire this mortar, which they do a zillion times, and it exploded. And they're not quite sure if one exploded or several or where, but just to give you an idea, a typical 40 millimeter mortar, these things, they're big hand grenades basically. They fly up in the air. When they come down, they explode. They kill everything within 100 feet circumference or diameter. So if you're standing there and you're 100 feet away, you're going to die from the shrapnel. 60 millimeter, probably a couple of hundred feet. So if you're holding the thing, you're going to be vaporized. You're going to be blown to bits. So there's a moratorium on right now for this particular live fire exercise, but
And they are calling it an accident.
yeah, and our hearts and prayers obviously go out for the families. This area, 147,000 acre depot, established in 1930s, about 140 miles southeast of Reno, Nevada, but it's in California. Right? Is it in California?
No,
I
it's
think
in Nevada.
It's in Nevada, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nevada. I mean, when you fly over that whole area, it's so open. And I mean, we have so much open area in the United States. So our hearts and prayers out to the family,
We
friends.
do have
and,
a picture of the 60 millimeter mortar if you want to look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
it.
Put that up. Take a look at the size of it. Very sad situation.
It's kind of
Yeah,
surprising that
but
they would
it's a huge mortar.
release so quickly
Yeah, I
what
know.
it was that happened.
That is.
And that kind of makes me actually a little bit concerned and even a little bit suspicious.
That it may be
I'm
something
sorry to
else.
say. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
know.
quick story to put out.
Well, part of our job is being very suspicious, but yeah, that thing.
I mean, a lot of these type of accidents do happen, and they actually all the manuals written to prevent these accidents are written in blood, kind of like the flight rules in aviation. All those flight rules.
You don't know until it happens.
until it happens, and
Yeah.
then they mishandling or
Yeah.
whatever, or just one careless maneuver and boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
especially because it's the 10th anniversary of the Iraq War, so,
Yeah, it's true.
significant timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
well, CJ's alluding to the fact that there may be something else in here. Maybe it had some terrorist.
No, we
element.
don't know. I mean, I tend to go with it as an accident first and later.
Well, yeah.
I know if it hadn't been for the anniversary,
Yeah,
then I
that's
wouldn't have given
interesting.
it a thought. But after what happened on 9/11,
Yeah,
I'm
I know,
kind of
I
looking
know,
at things
I know,
happening
I know, I
all
know.
over the world.
Who's
And-
jumping sharks again?
Jumping
Yeah.
sharks. Jumping the shark.
Mark jumps the sharks, not you.
Yeah, if I'm not jumping sharks, you shouldn't be
Yeah.
jumping sharks. I'm the shark.
Well, there
jumper.
was no
Where's
shark
Fonzie?
jumping, and I just kind of felt like somebody
No, it's
should. I
women's
had to
intuition.
represent.
Women's intuition. I mean, we got to leave it open as a possibility. But many times in these sort of situations, you want to get ahead of the curve. You want to get out in front of the news so this kind of stuff doesn't happen.
Right.
So we'll see. It'll sort out. Enough people saw it and were involved that it'll
Okay.
sort out.
Yeah.
All right.
But what we should do, speaking about jumping sharks, is take a look at a brief update on yesterday, the bizarre event, University of Central Florida. And by a
Yep.
quick review, Tom Trento at 3:16, 16 minutes after the top of the hour. Wherever you are, we're on the East Coast, so we go by East Coast time here. It's 16 after 3. If you're our good friends out in California, it's just you're having your little Mai Tais or whatever you have at 12 o'clock, and it's just 16 minutes past that. But we told you yesterday that a local university, we're about 3 hours from this university, but some of the people in this room live very closely to this university, University of Central Florida in Orlando, Florida. And all of us have been to that campus on many occasions because it is a jihad campus, second largest school by population in the United States university, 51,000 students. That's pretty big. And there is a very strong international student body, and within the international student body is a very strong Islamic student body. They even have one of the 600 MSAs, Muslim
right.
Student Associations, in the United States. So they have one of those.
And they import speakers,
Yeah.
radical speakers
nice
from
speakers, yes.
all over the United States and all over the world.
Who we've-
who shouldn't even be allowed to in the United States at all.
No, they're Jew
They
hating,
should be in jail.
American hating, unindicted co-conspirators of terrorist operations, and
Hamas fundraisers.
yeah, and the school invites the student groups invite them, and the school says, because we've confronted the schools, that school in particular many times, school says, oh, they have a First Amendment right to this, and we say, okay, you also have a First Amendment right to your opinion. At least go on record and say Siraj Wahaj is a deadbeat terrorist, and we think he is beyond redemption. Unless you're a Christian, and then maybe he can be redeemed. Who knows? He's beyond redemption, but he has a right to be here. But he's the lowest form of life there is, and nobody should even listen to him. Why can't the school say that?
Well, or better yet, because we've requested this from UCF and from other universities around the state of Florida too, but UCF in particular.
University of Central Florida, UCF.
In particular, it says, okay, if you want to bring in James Badawi,
James Badawi.
okay, if you want to bring, who's the head of the the Feet Council of North America,
Feek
The
Council.
Fee Council,
right?
which certifies
Which certi-
reliance of the
which cer-
traveler, which the handbook for
Right.
Sharia
He's
for
the-
Americans.
One of the things
A
was,
piece of crap book, right, Abdullah?
yep.
What do you say that for? That is like halal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is what we use. When we are not in Islamic country, we take that book and
Well,
then
you
let
got
us
it up
know
there.
how
You
to,
got it up there,
no,
don't
it's
you?
right
Over
there.
there. Oh,
It's
okay.
right there.
Okay.
We don't need it. Nobody sees
Well,
these.
Well, anyway.
Let him
It's
show
It's
'em
right
what
there,
it is.
draped with the Israeli
Flag
flag.
with a dead chicken on it.
Cleansing it. It's being cleansed of the demons in it.
Well, and here's one of the situations.
Who's that? Go ahead, keep going.
We brought up one of the we brought the reliance of the traveler, and what we did, we pulled it out and said, listen, these guys have certified that this book is actual, factual, and true. We would like to question him about this book and other issues concerning his relationship with the Muslim Brotherhood. Let him explain his position, if he is or is he not. And if you're going to
Is
have
he is or is he ain't a brother?
right, so you can have. We don't mind you having him come to the students and giving his dialogue. We actually think it's a very teachable moment because you're going to hear what he says, but we want to be able to give the counter argument to who this person really is, what he's up to, what his methodology is, what his writings are, what
Right.
his things are.
And this is an open forum. This is not just for the students.
This is-
Because
this is
again,
right.
just like with FAU, this is a public event on a public campus that the community at large is invited to.
And the university repeatedly has said no, 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 no. Not just from us, but from other groups also who say, listen, you're going to bring this guy in here or this, or the.
Where's the counterpoint?
Where's the counterpoint?
Yeah.
We'll even have a debate with them.
Plus, is it paid for by student activity fees?
No, it's
which
paid, well, typically what it is, it's sponsored by the Muslim Students Association.
okay, so they pay the whole thing?
Well, they get the sponsorship of it, but when we have sponsorships from the Republicans or whoever,
They
okay?
have to pay.
No.
No,
It's
no,
the
no,
same.
no, it's the same thing.
Same deal.
Okay.
So, but they don't want to hear about it.
No, they're and now why are we?
And they're mad, and they also, when we ask a question inside the when Badawi was there, the person who got up and asked the question
Got dragged out by the cops.
out by the police for asking
Why
the question.
don't you play that? I think that'd be good to play during one of our breaks.
Oh, that's not on his list.
Oh, he can find it. But all right, let's get back to the reason why we're bringing this school up is because yesterday, unfortunately, sadly, there was a near calamity, a near massive.
It could have been a massacre.
Could have been a massive massacre. Have you special guest? Did you hear about this yesterday? Yeah. The perpetrator, the deceased perpetrator, James Oliver. You said Fox was just using
They were just using James Oliver. They
James
weren't
Oliver.
saying his last name, which is Sivakumaran. Yeah.
Wait, Fox was doing that?
Yeah, I couldn't
No.
believe it.
Could our
Sivakumaran.
favorite
I
prince
have
be
the,
behind
I don't know.
that?
I think maybe they just couldn't pronounce it, and they figured, okay, it'll be easier if we
Sivakumaran.
just say James Oliver. I don't.
You don't
Sivaku,
think
you got it?
Mr.
Yeah.
Bin Talal have nothing to do with that?
Watch. We're just going to show you for the listeners. We're running just a few seconds of video that we shot. One of our guys asked the question at one of these open events of Muslim jihadis, and the campus police wind up dragging him out. Go ahead and roll.
I bring it up, and I have a copy. I know that that Mr. Badawi sits on the Feet Council of North America, and We've heard a lot here today about
He's
different
holding
laws.
Reliance of the
that plan
Traveler in
not
his
to
hand.
plan.
Yeah, we
The
need to
Reliance was
bring
translated in
that up here.
1991. It is accepted by the Fiqh Council of Jeddah and the Fiqh Council of North America,
Watch it, your headset.
as
Watch
well
your
as
headset.
Al-Azhar University, the Grand Mufti of Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and it's accepted by all 4 schools of Sunni Islamic law and both of Shia. It talks
This is
about
at
in the Book
University of Central
Justice
Florida.
about stoning, Book O12:2. It talks about the killing of apostates. It talks about the killing of those who leave the apostates that leave the religion and non-Muslims.
Just
This
freeze
is
that for a
accepted
minute, Mark.
authoritative Islamic
What's going
law.
on now for the listening audience and the viewing audience? We're focusing in on University of Central Florida because of the near disaster yesterday, and we're laying out that this school, and we don't know for sure if the people involved, this kid involved, is had any Islamic slant or jihadi or anything like that. But we are sending out a warning because we're in a battle right now with Florida Atlantic University, another state school, just 3 hours from University of Central Florida. We've been on the campus of University of South Florida in Tampus many times, and up in
Yes.
University of Northern Florida
And we've
in
been kicked
Jacksonville.
off of all of them.
All of those.
all of these, right?
We've been kicked out of the best state universities.
What we're saying is Florida was a launching pad for 9/11. The jihadis came here and got integrated into flight schools and the community.
Professors
and
at
all
these
of that.
schools have pleaded guilty to being
Terrorists.
Terrorists and all
they're
this.
in jail. I mean, come on.
Come on, wake up is what we're saying.
They pled guilty. Okay,
Not because just of overwhelming
Oh, yeah.
evidence,
Oh.
but because they also pleaded guilty.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it is this quick story on the plead guilty is what we always hear back from them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they just pled guilty because you know how it is. It's like
We thought he'd get less
the
time.
and stuff like that. Funny, Tom was talking to him at one time when they said that,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Yeah, that happens to me all the time."
Yeah. So I'm always pleading guilty.
Sounds like
All
you're
right.
getting Islamophobic very early in the show
In the
today.
I think Tom should plead guilty more often, but that's just me.
Sorry.
So we're taking a look at University of Central Florida, and at 3:45 today, there's going to be a live press conference, and it's wonderful. Thank God that we have this show in the afternoon, because there's always things breaking. We're gonna bring you the live press conference if you're driving your
If
car.
it happens,
Yeah, we hope.
we hope if it happens.
There's two things that have to happen. They have to have the press conference, and then we have to be able to bring it to you. But so if all of that happens, we'll keep an eye on it, and we have somebody monitoring it. He should have the TV on back there, monitoring that too. So, but we're sounding an alert. I just got some more emails about more anti-Semitism on the campus of University of Florida Atlantic University. So we're saying, look at University of Central Florida, and we're going back now about a year and a half ago. One of our associates, Randy McDaniels, stood at a meeting where James Badawi is a Muslim brother.
Jamal Badawi.
Jamal, well, yeah, sometimes he uses
Yeah,
James.
yeah.
Jamal Badawi, he uses the English transliteration. Jamal Badawi, he is a Muslim brother. He's
Well,
one of the top guys.
Okay, but let me ask you this. The Muslim
Yes.
Brotherhood is invited to the White House all the time. They advise the president.
Yeah, we still think that's a
Our
bad thing.
allies
but I
are
guess it isn't.
Egypt. Egypt is considered to be our ally, and it's headed by the Muslim Brotherhood. So why is it a bad thing if Muslim brothers are having discussions on campus? Why shouldn't they? They're
Okay, I stand
invited
corrected.
everywhere else.
I stand corrected. That's the absurd, upside-down world we live in, and
That's right.
when we show you the video from the White House, the video will further substantiate your point that this White House, this administration, has been fully infiltrated, and it's becoming commonplace now for the Brotherhood to have a say in
That's right.
the administration of the United States of
Well,
America.
They have a
But
say. They have a say in everything that's happening in this country. If you're in K through 12, if you're in the university system, then the Muslim Brotherhood is advising you on what should be in the textbooks, what should be in the curriculum.
Muslim Brotherhood,
Right.
here.
So back to our
Give Frank
Meanwhile, back to the video.
back to the video. We've been trying to get through the
Okay.
last 20 minutes
Get
here.
Frank Gaffney's 27 chapters of the Muslim
Yeah,
Brotherhood.
right.
So watch this. This
All right.
is a
And the book
public
he's
setting.
holding up is the book right there in front of you.
The book right here. This is a public setting at a public university with a questioner challenging the jihadi. Watch what happens.
Okay.
And if it is authoritative Islamic law, you sit on the council that has a stamp of approval inside it, the Fiqh Council of North America has approved this book, will you either deny Islamic law or will you denounce Islamic law? One of the two, please.
Neither.
Neither.
Very simple.
He's a
By
co-conspirator.
the- yeah, we got to show this. He's 20th list on the co-conspirator of the guy who's speaking right now is Jamal Badawi, and he is number 20 on the co-conspirator list in the largest counterterrorism funding trial in the United States, the Holy Land Foundation.
Don't
trial.
change that. If you're watching
Yeah, what's
on
your,
Trento Vision or Tea Party Community or YouTube, look at the little bump on the guy's forehead.
oh yes,
When you
Yeah.
see that, that is super jihadi.
yes,
Okay.
Zabita.
Yeah, that's a prayer bump where they hit the ground so hard 5 times a day, they develop this huge callus. And that is an excellent sign of a Sharia-compliant Muslim. And in fact, they're worn as badges of honor in the Islamic community.
Yeah, the more devout you are,
Bigger the bruises, the more religious and rough and tough you are. You're
you're
perceived.
beating your head against the floor.
Yeah,
in
for
essence.
Allah, for Allah.
For Allah.
Yo, I give him some help with that.
So, all right. So this is Jamal Badawi, and you ready to go back?
Go ahead, let's see
And
what
this will
happens.
show the
Aside
links
from
of
the
everything.
Quran and Sunnah, there is a whole range of
And this is
interpretation.
actually interesting how all the links actually come, how it shows how all the links come back down to him and how they go throughout the other people. So,
He's the Capa de Capa.
So
you
he's
know,
very high up in the
He's the
organization.
Godfather. Yeah.
so let's go on.
Just sit and relax.
Okay.
There are many verses in the Quran that affirm freedom of belief.
Yes, sir, I'm listening.
Several, not one. Some of them have been mentioned.
Now we have one of the guys who's member of CARE says, "You don't say anything else, sir," to him in the thing.
Oh, wait a minute. So we have a Muslim jihadi care official telling our
Randy.
guy, Randy, not to speak at a public meeting on a university campus
Right.
surrounded
He says-
by women in hijab.
He says, warning him to be silent. Don't say anything else.
Okay.
Care, by the way, is founded by the Muslim Brotherhood.
There are 3 or 4 versions in Sahih Muslim and also in Bukhari. In Bukhari.
But sir, if you're going to be deceptive, you're going to answer honestly. This book has scholarly consensus or ijma. It does, excuse me,
But hold on. He's saying that this book has scholarly consensus or ijma, which means it's verified law, and that's all he's saying. Now what happens
He's entering into a little debate with him. No
right,
big deal.
and now all of a sudden the Muslim Brotherhood thug comes over there, calls the cops over, and drags him out.
excuse me, has scholarly consensus, sir. There is a book that does step out of the room. Step out of the room.
My mistake.
Now they drag him out of the room for saying that.
I just want to say that that was unfortunate. I don't think that person needed to
And this is
be
Adina
taken-
Lekovic,
I don't think
too.
that person needed to be taken from the room.
She's
I
just
think
as
we should be
bad
able
as
to
the
have
Down.
MPAC is another
discourse,
Muslim
hopefully
Brotherhood
not
founded
heated,
group.
but open
Right.
discourse.
Oh,
Like,
they
this is what the point of a day like this is supposed to be about. So
Yeah, but she never called us back.
I hope that
We
we
put
get
out
further
feelers.
opportunity to talk to that person.
No,
She
no.
knew. She knew.
I'd just like to make a
I-
quick
hang on,
comment.
let me explain this,
Wait,
because-
I just want to make a
So-
quick comment. If you disagree, I think what we just saw here recently.
This is Mark, yeah.
Very apropos to the whole discourse we've been having. And if you disagree, if somehow you object or you have a strong and valid point, you end up being drugged out.
Well, we explained the rules of
I'm not
engagement.
talking
Rules
to
of
you, sir. I'm talking
engagement.
to the panel.
Well,
And see, this is exactly, again, once again, I was being very calm, very polite, and he's trying to shut me down. Once
I'm
again.
not trying. I'm just explaining the rules to
Once
you, sir.
again, I'm just saying, I think this is a prime example.
Not only were my
Yeah. So we're back.
I'll text you. All right, we're back now. All right, that was an illustration of the mindset at University of Central Florida in terms of protecting the rights of Muslim jihadis versus citizens wanting to dialogue. All we're saying, folks, is there's a serious Islamic jihad problem at the University of Central Florida, and we don't know if there's any relationship to this event yesterday, but we're not discounting or closing the book on that situation yet. We're
Also,
looking at the
Adina
evidence.
Lekovic, who was also at that meeting, is way high up there in the Muslim
She's
Brotherhood.
way up there.
I mean, she meets regularly with President Obama. She meets regularly with all the hierarchy of the Muslim Brotherhood, and she is so mobbed up, it's pathetic. And yet she gets to come in there and say whatever she wants to the university, unchallenged, unsubstantiated in her, by us, and we're not allowed and the
Right.
students are not allowed
Right.
to say anything.
Well, when Tom says that, he doesn't know if there's any relation to what happened yesterday.
To Islamic Jihad, right?
Right. Well, actually, there is, and
Okay.
the reason why is because the public schools, the private schools in this country, have made it a policy priority to promote multiculturalism and diversity on their campuses, and they have opened their campuses to people of origins all around the world, of dubious political connections, and embraced them as part of an open, tolerant university society, so that when they're talking about jihad, when they are known to have terrorist affiliations or anti-American sentiments, they're given the same free pass as everybody else, because we're expected to be tolerant of all views, and that's what allows the jihad to happen on campus. So I say, yes, it is related.
All right,
Well, I don't
well,
mind. Actually, I could care less if the KKK comes on there, the jihadis come on there, everybody else comes on the campus and says something. I am a big believer in free speech. You should have the right to express your opinions, even the ones that are totally heinous, deplorable. Yet, you cannot have the KKK or white supremacists come on board university and then tell everybody to be quiet. You can't challenge them. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
Right.
That is
right.
insane.
You're going to offend our guests.
You're going to offend our guests.
All right. So the bottom line is there's a disconnection on UCF in terms of its foreign students and in terms of its jihad students.
Yeah.
But getting back to this right now, because the press conference, who's monitoring the press conference? Out on a TV?
Invisible Mike.
Okay. Invisible Mike, make sure you monitor that.
Invisible Mike can't hear you.
There's some new information, and just briefly, James Oliver, let's see, I'll give you his name exactly. Sivakumaran, it's 5 syllables, Sivakumaran. And we think it's Sri Lankan
Sri
name.
Lankan, yeah.
He had planned an attack, and the officials have said they found the data indicating that. And he had a unique way of increasing the fatalities. His dorm room, he lived in a suite where there was a circular center living area, common area.
Right.
And then off each point of the
And
compass.
off each point,
3,
like
6,
4
9, 12.
bedrooms off there, and then off to the side, a common bathroom.
Yeah, and what he did was, and that's 7 floors.
Mm-hmm.
The dorm was 7 floors, beautiful building. He pulled a fire alarm.
To get everybody out in the hallways so he could start shooting in the hallways.
So there's more people to hit, and
Yeah.
people rushing around. They're going to be rushing because of the possibility. It was 12:20 at night.
Right.
So it's going to be chaos, confusion. He starts firing. There's going to be more confusion.
Yeah.
It was really a very interesting plan to take advantage of people at a sleepy moment and in a chaotic situation. My guess is he read that somewhere in one of these Inspire magazines or one of those deals. He had several guns, several weapons, handgun, an assault rifle of some sort, even though it was a small caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 4 improvised explosive devices, some sort of Molotov cocktail that had explosive capability with shrapnel around it. We talked about that mortar that blew up those people. These devices would have blown up and would have sent shrapnel and fire all over the place and killed. He probably could have killed 50 people in 3 minutes deploying all of this. What happened when he pulled the alarm, his roommate, and his roommate is, his name is, where's his roommate's name? Arabu
Babakani.
Arabu Babakani. He goes by BK. Arabu Babakani. What is that? What kind of name is that?
Very fun to say. I'm not sure of the origin, but I could say it all day.
It's very subcontinent, isn't it?
Yeah, Abdullah, how would you pronounce Babukani?
Babakani.
Babukani, just like that.
Babukani, what
Okay,
that-
well, you got a
very
little.
easy.
You kind of raise it up at the end. You're,
Babukani.
Babukani. All right, AK Babukani said that he was a strange guy. He says he was a roommate of ours, and he never had visitors in the dorm. I guess not. He's assembling bombs in his room. He was never talking to anyone on a cell phone. This is very interesting. Babukani says Siva Kumaran avoided human contact, particularly eye contact. A friend of mine who goes to a Florida school has been telling me about a weird person in their class, and just whenever I talk to the person, they tell me about this weird person. And yesterday, with only a few classes left, this individual dropped out of all the classes. And there's been a lot of indicators of a bizarre personality. In light of this, I told that person at their school, I said, just call your advisor or whatever, and err on the side of caution in light of the UCF thing. Just tell the person about this individual and all the experiences you've had, and they quit yesterday and all of that. Get it to somebody official, because you don't want to live with this if that guy goes nuts and does something crazy.
Right.
So these are the days we live in, but instead of walking by me, Babukani says about James Oliver Sivakumaraman, he says he would stare off in another direction. He wouldn't look at me. The only time he actually made solid eye contact with me was when, guess?
He was pointing the gun.
When James Oliver Sivakumaraman pulled the alarm, his roommate ran into the bedroom to get him out. The roommate surprised the perpetrator. He pointed a gun at him. The roommate, Babukani, ran into the bathroom, locked himself in, called the cops. The cops and the firemen coming into the building, the cops ran up to that suite, and the theory is, according to the officials, the police surprised James Oliver Sivakumaraman, and he turned a gun on himself and killed himself.
Right.
Instead of getting in a shootout with the police.
Right.
So unbelievable developments. But we'll get more information in just a few minutes as we monitor the 3:45 press conference.
I think it's interesting. After 9/11, we were all told that we had to be more vigilant. We had to be more watchful. If you're sitting at Starbucks and somebody leaves, a backpack or a knapsack or something under the table unattended, that we're supposed to do something about that. We're supposed to watch for things like that at the airport and in other public places, but we don't watch people. Why,
Well, we're not in the Soviet Union. We're not in a totalitarian regime where, in America historically, live and let live, whatever. Well, it's a different world now. We have people here that want to kill us, so things are changing for sure. All right, let's move into our topic.
Excuse me?
If you guys want to know what that is, it is not a mouse that just ran across the room.
There's going to be more.
There's going to be more.
I think we need a zoom on camera.
You know, zoom on this. Hold on. Let's get the,
No, I'm not ready yet. No. There's going
was
to be no
a
more sneezes at the moment.
Yeah, that was a sneeze.
That was a sneeze jay. A sneeze jay. That was really a sneeze.
That was really a
completely 180 degrees removed from my sneezes.
That's right.
Blow out the microphone. All right, here's. Is there any indication of this press conference? What does that mean?
Move on. Nothing to see here.
Feel free to text anything that you want to tell me.
All right, we're moving on. Let's get to President Obama going to Israel.
And why is he doing that?
Very good question. Are you monitoring Trento? Anybody monitoring Trento Vision? We got to see what the little chatters are chatting about. You little chatters, you. I'd like to know your thoughts as to why President Obama is going. What is he going to Israel for? What is that all about? And I think yesterday you had an interesting theory. What was you remember your theory about?
Well, my theory was that he felt emboldened by winning the election, and he felt it was the best opportunity that he would have to go and put pressure on Israel to stay, not to strike at Iran, and to start capitulating to the Palestinians. And he felt that he was in the best position to force something on him. on him, Netanyahu, on them, the Israelis, and actually it's not working out that way so far.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose situation for Obama. It's a lose-lose situation for the United States. He was looking perhaps to mollify, pacify Jewish American groups who are largely Democrat voters who were concerned about his perceived anti-Israel slant and say, look, I'm going to Israel. But it's not working out. There's no good program. He can't get a good photo op anywhere. He can't make a good speech in Israel. He can't make a good speech when he goes to Ramallah. And so what do we get out of it? We just look weaker in the Middle East and weaker all around. I just don't get
Well,
it.
you wanna
He
talk-
already established who he is and how he feels about Israel by his whole history, and particularly in this current administration, by his choices of John Kerry for Secretary of State, by John Brennan for head of CIA, Mr. Al-Quds, and particularly Chuck Hagel for defense,
Yeah.
who is on record as being anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. So what could he possibly accomplish that's going to
I'll tell you what he can
whitewash that?
accomplish. I will tell you what he can accomplish.
Okay.
He can solidify the Islamic world behind his position that Israel needs to give up land for peace. How about that?
Okay. But he's not doing enough for the Islamic world.
How about-
he hasn't paid a high enough price to them.
Well,
I
and the
agree
fact
with the
that
CJ.
and the fact that he's going to spend so much time there, and he's going to be all kissy with Shimon Peres while he's there, and he's going to visit Jewish holy sites while he's there, is going to be so insulting to the Muslims. They're not going to be able to see past that.
But but the big play here is exactly what we're going to show you right now. Can you go to my screen, Abdullah?
Of course. 1 second.
And I have to tell you, while we're waiting for that, I read a really interesting article this morning, Muslim cleric on Egyptian TV calling U.S. aid to Egypt the jizya tax.
I heard that.
Yes.
Did you see that, you guys?
I love it.
Did you see that?
I told you I was.
And
hoping-
that was the
What
indication
is
of our
explain jizya
of our
for,
submission to Islam.
explain jizya for our.
This is the jizya, and this is in this book.
Yes, it is
This
many
is
times.
in the Reliance.
Oh,
Okay.
the green book that floats through the air.
Yeah. And
Magical book.
this is the tax. This is the tax
Magical
since
book.
the time of Muhammad Piba that that non-Muslims
Yes.
have to pay the Muslims in lands that the
Oh,
Muslims
so the
have
money we're
conquered.
paying the Egyptians is that tax. Okay.
Right. So if you don't convert, if you don't submit, and if you're not on, in line to be killed, yeah, you can pay the tax. We'll spare your life for a while, and then we'll kill you later.
Yeah.
When that runs
Yeah,
out.
I can-
But it's considered the ultimate sign of weakness. It is the ultimate weak horse
Yep. Absolutely.
image, and
Okay.
and I think that's how Obama is going to be perceived in the Muslim world. I think there's some rational, political, savvy players in some of the governments of the Middle East, but I think they are far outnumbered by the ignorant masses who are educated by their imams, by their sheikhs, by their schools, who will not take the same rational political point of view.
Okay. We shall see, but I got something different for everybody.
Okay.
Take a look at my screen, Abdullah. I don't know. How long have you been in the United States, Imam Abdullah?
About 6 years.
Oh,
Okay.
do not confess.
Do you know what that little symbol is at the top of the screen there that we're looking at?
Is that the White House?
Yes, it is. That is the
It's
White
symbol of
House.
your power. That is the symbol of your miserable house.
I am coming to you on Trento Vision at 3:46 in the afternoon. If you're listening on the radio, you're listening on WNN or iHeartRadio. And if you can see what we have on the screen, that's why this is a great show to watch. And if you're driving in your automobiles, at the drive time 3 through 6, then you can go in the evenings to the archive and you can watch the show, and you should watch it twice. But this is the official White House website, and we are on the official
I just-
White House blog.
I can't even believe this.
Yeah, I know, this is too good to be true. I'm
Yes,
so
it is. It is too good, inshallah.
I'm so happy the president won. He just makes the show so easy to. You know how hard it would have been to do all these shows on Mitt Romney. Today, Mitt Romney bored everybody to death with, lowering taxes once again. It would have been so boring with, but the White House blog, and if you can read right there, stay right there. Ben Rhodes, have you heard that name lately, anybody? Ben Rhodes, you're going to hear a lot about this 35-year-old wonder kid, whiz kid.
It's so worldly for his age.
Yeah. Ben Rhodes reviews President Obama's trip to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan. Okay, and I'll read what the White House says. Then in a little bit we'll take our break. We're going to come back. We're going to show you an unbelievable. I don't even know why it's still up. You know what? We should have downloaded
Mr.
this.
Toronto,
We will download
this
it.
is so glorious. Can we spend the whole rest of the show talking about this new Israel?
I think we can. It is President Obama's new Israel because
I
it looks
love
nothing.
it.
It looks nothing like Israel today. I'm reading from the White House website. In the first foreign trip of his second term in office, President Obama will visit
Next week,
Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan. The trip is an important opportunity to meet with the new Israeli government, which was just consolidated a couple of days ago, speak to the Israeli people, and as well as meet with the Palestinian leadership and the King of Jordan, King Hussein. We asked Ben Rhodes, Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications, to preview the upcoming trip and some of the issues the president would be discussing in his meetings. Check out below or watch the video on YouTube. Oh, we will. Yes, we will. That's what we're going to play in a little bit.
We can play it now.
Let's see. Yeah, we can play it right now.
You want to play it now?
Yeah, let me set it up real quickly. For those of you just tuning in, we're playing a 3-minute video by Ben Rhodes, who is the speechwriter to the president that wrote his speech 4 years ago, almost to the month. It was June, actually, in 2009. He wrote the speech that President Obama gave in Cairo,
The
Egypt.
famous Cairo speech.
Yeah, where Islam basically has made the world a wonderful place, and I think they were on the boat with Columbus too. Ben Rhodes wrote that speech and has progressed over 4 years as a 31-year-old speechwriter to a 35-year-old national security advisor to the president. And as we get into who this person is, even the veterans in the White House wonder how this kid is so skilled and how he has President Obama in the palm of his hands when it comes to foreign policy. Now, let's play the video, and I think we'll play it through once, just uninterrupted, and then when we come back, we'll deconstruct the video. That'll take us right to the break.
Okay.
Next week, the president will make his first trip as president of the United States to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan. On this trip, it'll be an important opportunity for him at the beginning of his new
Ben
term
Rhodes
to
speaking.
meet
That's
with the
Ben
new
Rhodes.
Israeli government that was just formed to discuss a range of issues that we cooperate on, as well as to speak directly to the
He's
Israeli
younger
people.
than you, Abdullah.
He'll also have the chance to meet with the Palestinian leadership and the King of Jordan, King Abdullah. When we get to Israel on Wednesday, the president will have meetings with both President Perez
look at
and
that.
Prime
Well, I'm
Minister
not gonna say
Netanyahu,
anything. We'll look at
who
this next
he'll have dinner with,
Yeah.
and he'll be able to discuss a range of issues, including the peace process, issues like Syria, Iran, where we're cooperating very closely with the Israelis. Then the next day, on Thursday, the president will have a chance to visit the Israeli Museum, where he'll see the Dead Sea Scrolls as well as an exposition of Israeli technological and innovation, which speaks to the future of Israel and the enormous economic progress that they're making there. Then he'll go to Ramallah, where he'll meet with President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority
I wonder if he
and
goes to
reaffirm our
Arafat's
support
tomb.
for both Palestinian aspirations for a two-state solution, but also the important institution building that the Palestinian Authority is doing on the West Bank. He'll visit a cultural center funded by USAID, where he'll have a chance to meet with young Palestinians and discuss the future that they face as they seek to build their institutions and achieve a state, again, in the West Bank and Gaza. After that, the president will go to the Jerusalem Convention Center, where he'll give a speech to an audience of mainly Israeli university students. And this really is the true purpose of the visit, an ability for the president to speak directly to the Israeli people about the future
No
that we want to build
comments.
together.
No comments until the
And
next
the embassy has
hour.
put together a list of universities that they partner with that can bring in Israeli young people so that the president can have a very direct conversation with them
That's okay.
about the bonds
listening to
between
them.
our countries and our commitment to Israel's security and its future. That night, the president will be hosted at a state dinner by President Shimon Peres, which is a reciprocal dinner for the dinner the president held here at the White House for President Peres when he gave him the Medal of Freedom last year, the highest honor that the United States can bestow on a civilian. The next day, the president will visit a range of cultural sites. He'll start by going to Mount Herzl, where he'll lay a wreath at the grave of Herzl, a man who played such a critical role in the founding of the State of Israel. Then he'll visit Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial Museum that the president visited as a senator back in 2008, where he can again speak to the tragic history of the Holocaust and the imperative of ensuring that Israelis have security in their homeland, the ancient homeland of the Jewish people. He'll also
It's
have
like
the chance
us
to lay
having
a
a
wreath at the
guest
grave
that's
of Yitzhak
talking. He's
Rabin,
fine, don't worry
an
about
Israeli leader who did so much to forge not just security for Israelis, but peace as well. After those stops, he'll go to the Church of Nativity. The Church of the Nativity is, of course, a very holy site for Christians around the world. In Bethlehem, it speaks to the birthplace of Jesus and the ancient connections that Christians have in that part of the world. That will conclude his trip to Israel and the West Bank. He'll then fly to Jordan, where he'll have a chance to meet with King Abdullah and have dinner with King Abdullah and talk about
Why
the
does he
efforts
have
that the
to
king
fly?
has
It's a
underway
10-minute
to
drive.
pursue political reform within Jordan, as well as to discuss the very challenging regional situation, including the many Syrian refugees who have come across the border into Jordan, who we're seeking to support with humanitarian assistance. So it'll be a very full agenda for the president in these 3 days. He'll have a very important set of meetings, but importantly, he'll also be able to speak to the Israeli people, the Palestinian people, and the people in Jordan about the ongoing U.S. commitment to ensuring a future of greater opportunity, greater democracy, and hopefully the aspirations that we all share for peace in the region.
Okay, all I'm going to say before the break is I would totally not buy a car from that guy.
Well, I want everybody to get a feel. He's a very sharp guy. I don't think he had a prompter. I think that was off the top of his head. You know, he knows this stuff. He's
Okay,
a very
he
bright
could
guy.
memorize a 3-minute speech.
If you look at, we're going to read later on, we're going to read the comments in this video. Fascinating. Half of them are, why didn't he tie his tie? You know, how can I listen to a guy who has his tie not tied? But there's some very serious comments. And you can see how competent he is. The question is, why does he control so much President Obama's foreign policy? In the next hour, right after our break, we're going to dive into this video. We're going to deconstruct it. We're going to show you in the beginning the precedent that was set regarding the geography of Israel. Then we're going to tell you a little bit about Bill Rhodes. Then we're bringing Ben Rhodes. Then we're bringing Bill Langfan in his video. And we're going to see who you think makes more sense, President Obama or a 91-year-old Jewish American veteran patriot. We'll be right back.
Did you go to 4? Go to 4.
Okay.
You're not going to believe what you're about to see. University of Central Florida, a taxpayer-funded university, sponsoring terrorist-sympathizing groups, stifling free speech, and forcibly removing an individual for simply asking a question. Islamic indoctrination is occurring all over this nation. Here is just one example.
My question is a legal one, and I bring it up, and I have a copy. I know that Mr. Badawi sits on the Fiqh Council of North America, and we've heard a lot here today about different laws, things in the Quran, not in the Quran. The Reliance was translated in 1991. It is accepted by the Fiqh Council of Jeddah and the Fiqh Council of North America, as well as Al-Azhar University, the Grand Mufti of Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and it's accepted by all 4 schools of Sunni Islamic law and both of Shia. It talks about in the Book of Justice about stoning, Book O-12-2. It talks about the killing of apostates. It talks about the killing of those who leave the apostates that leave the religion and non-Muslims. This is accepted authoritative Islamic law, and if it is authoritative Islamic law, you sit on the council that has a stamp of approval inside it. The Fiqh Council of North America has approved this book. Will you either deny Islamic law or will you denounce Islamic law? One of the two, please.
First of all, aside from the Quran and Sunnah, there is a whole range of interpretation. Just sit and relax. There are many verses in the Quran that affirm freedom of belief.
Yes, sir, I'm listening.
Several, not one. Some of them have been mentioned already. There are 3 or 4 versions in Sahih Muslim and also in Bukhari. In Bukhari.
But sir, if you're going to be deceptive, you're going to answer honestly. This book has scholarly consensus or ijma. It does, excuse me, has scholarly consensus. There is a little bit of
I just want to say that that was unfortunate. I don't think that person needed to be taken. Yeah, I don't think that person needed to be taken from the room. We should be able to have discourse, hopefully not heated, but open discourse. Like this is what the point of a day like this is supposed to be about. So I hope that we get a further opportunity to talk to that person.
I'd just like to make a quick comment.
Okay, here.
I just want to make a quick comment. If you disagree, I think what we just saw here recently actually is very apropos to the whole discourse we've been having. And if you disagree, if somehow you object or you have a strong and valid point, you end up being drugged out.
Well, we explained the rules of engagement.
I'm not talking to you, sir. I'm talking to the panel. See, this is exactly, once again, I was being very calm, very polite, and he's trying to shut me down.
I'm not trying. I'm just explaining the rules to you, sir.
I'm just saying, I think this is a prime example.
Not only were my First Amendment rights violated, but what you just witnessed was not a dialogue, but a monologue and Islamic propaganda. The mantra of the event was the bashing of Christianity and the promotion of Islamophobia. The Islamic groups and UCF worked together to control any questions that were critical of Islam. Others in attendance were also cut off, silenced in order to leave. Our university should be a place of open, honest dialogue and education, not indoctrination.
You're not going to believe what you're about to see. University of Central Florida, a taxpayer-funded university, sponsoring terrorist-sympathizing groups, stifling free speech, and forcibly removing an individual for simply asking a question. Islamic indoctrination is occurring all over this nation. Here is just one example.
My question is a legal one, and I bring it up, and I have a copy. I know that Mr. Badawi sits on the Fiqh Council of North America, and we've heard a lot here today about different laws, things in the Quran, not in the Quran. The Reliance was translated in 1991. It is accepted by the Fiqh Council of Jeddah and the Fiqh Council of North America, as well as Al-Azhar University, the Grand Mufti of Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and it's accepted by all 4 schools of Sunni Islamic law and both of Shia. It talks about in the Book of Justice about stoning, Book O-12-2. It talks about the killing of apostates. It talks about the killing of those who leave apostates that leave the religion, and non-Muslims. This is accepted authoritative Islamic law, and if it is authoritative Islamic law, you sit on the council that has a stamp of approval inside it. The Fiqh Council of North America has approved this book. Will you either deny Islamic law, or will you denounce Islamic law? One of the two, please.
First of all, aside from the Quran and Sunnah, there is a whole range of interpretation. Just sit and relax. There are many verses in the Quran that affirm freedom of belief.
Yes, sir, I'm listening.
Several, not one. Some of them have been mentioned already. There are 3 or 4 versions in Sahih Muslim and also in Bukhari. In Bukhari.
But sir, if you're going to be deceptive, you're going to answer honestly. This book has scholarly consensus or ijma. It does, excuse me, has scholarly consensus. There is a book that does have scholarly consensus.
I just want to say that that was unfortunate. I don't think that person needed to be taken. Yeah, I don't think that person needed to be taken from the room. We should be able to have discourse, hopefully not heated, but open discourse. Like this is what the point of a day like this is supposed to be about. So I hope that we get a further opportunity to talk to that person.
I'd just like to make a quick comment.
Okay, here.
I just want to make a quick comment. If you disagree, I think what we just saw here recently actually is that very apropos to the whole discourse we've been having. And if you disagree, if somehow you object or you have a strong and valid point, you end up being drugged out.
Well, we explained the rules of engagement.
I'm not talking to you, sir. I'm talking to the panel. See, this is exactly, once again, I was being very calm, very polite, and he's trying to shut me down.
I'm not trying. I'm just explaining the rules to you,
Once
sir.
again, I'm just saying I think this is a prime example.
Not only were my First Amendment rights violated, but what you just witnessed was not a dialogue, but a monologue and Islamic propaganda. The mantra of the event was the bashing of Christianity and the promotion of Islamophobia. The Islamic groups and UCF worked together to control any questions that were critical of Islam. Others in attendance were also cut off sides in order to leave. Our university should be a place of open, honest dialogue and education, not indoctrination.
This is amazing. Did you see this?
What are we doing?
The comparison?
It'll be better if Mark
Well-
pulls it up because he can get the image better.
What are you?
No, I have to get both faces. Somebody tell me. I'll do it.
We're on.
1, 2, 3. What happened?
We're on. We're live.
We're live and in color. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento, 4 minutes plus 2 minutes makes 6 minutes after 4 o'clock. Hi, how are you? Welcome back on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Paradise. Even though Paradise may be getting a little bit of rain. Is it raining outside? It's
Not
raining
yet.
outside. Okay. We need the rain. My sprinkler's broke, so we need we need God to help sprinkle the lawn.
And it saves money on car washes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Are we still in South Florida under all those
Water
don't
bans?
use the water and all that stuff.
I don't know. I think it
Apparently
depends. I think it depends which town you're in.
Don't
Some-
use the water.
Yeah. Well,
Don't drink the
don't
water.
drink the water. Well, we're in an undisclosed bunker somewhere, and some of you on Trento Vision have expressed concern for our safety. We're very safe. Believe me, we're very safe where we are, and
We're ready to bunker down.
Yeah, we're fine. Everything's good. And hi, welcome back. If you're just getting into your automobiles at 7 minutes past 4 o'clock on the East Coast, this is Trento Vision. My name is Tom Trento. I direct a counterterrorism educational organization that deals with defending the United States Constitution, defending Israel's right to defend themselves, to stand with Jews worldwide now that the jihad against Israel has been increased to include Jews worldwide. And there's only, there's 1.3 billion Muslims. There's only 1.1 billion Jews in the world.
Yeah, like maybe.
The two Jews in here start laughing at that. How
This
many?
man is
I-
crazy.
I think we're probably somewhere around 14 million,
13 to
maybe
14
13
million?
to 14 million.
There's
maybe.
more. I have a larger Italian family than all the Jews in the world, I think.
Yeah, there's more Trentos than Jews
yeah, I
in the
think so.
world.
It is amazing, folks. 1.3 billion Muslims
Yeah.
with a total of 1 Nobel Prize, I think.
Yeah, and I think that was a gimme.
That was President Obama. I'm referring to.
You know what? I like to say for every CJ, there's 100 me.
And those pesky Jews have about 92 million Nobel. Well, they give them themselves. That's what that's what all these people think.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. But what a mismatch. We have 15 million Jews maybe in the world, 1.3 billion Muslims. The jihad has been extended and expanded to include Jewish people, not just the Zionist state of Israel. So the United West, our organization, seeks to stand with Jewish people and with the nation of Israel against the jihad and against the efforts of the West and the EU, the European Union, the United Nations, which voted 200-0, whatever.
Yeah.
Our organization thinks that Israel is a forward operating base for national security concerns for the United States of America. But also many of us, like me, believe that that Israel's a chosen land. Jewish people are chosen people by God to deliver a message, the message of Torah, the light of God's truth and His law, and that the land was given providentially to Jews to travel from Egypt out of Egypt is always in the mix somehow, man.
Yeah, everything is about Egypt for us. Actually, all our prayers
Everything.
contain,
That's right.
all our prayers
That's
refer
right,
to our deliverance from Egypt. And of course, Passover is coming up
Coming
next
up.
week. So we're going to be all about
Egypt.
Mitzrayim.
400 years in slavery, 40 years wandering, 3,000 years, contiguously in some dirt. But once Muslims get there, as they did in the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, once they get there, they believe that whatever they touch, they own. And we think that, and well, let's say that's true. Whatever you touch, you own.
It is.
Let's. Well, what happens in a war, Imam Abdullah, and you get your butts kicked in a war, and international law says
It depends on which side wins.
you lose your land if you lose it to the belligerents, you lose it to the other side, and you don't get it back.
But here is the thing.
You got to get closer to your
The
mic.
other Muslim
It's
Arab
not on.
nations,
It's not on.
the other
Get it.
other Arab nations told the Palestinians to get out of Dodge so they could kill the Jews and then they
there you
could
go.
go back
Now he's on.
and
Now he's
take
on.
their homes. So, being that is what those Palestinians were told, they should get their homes back.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. There was an Iran-Iraq war for what, 8 years?
8 years.
Okay, so when it's
Million
Muslims
people
fighting
dead.
Muslims,
Yeah.
who wins?
Who gets that? Yeah. What
Well,
happens?
that's
the
the
winner
simple.
in
The
that?
Muslims. The Muslims always win. Let's put
They
it.
always
The
win.
Muslims always get the land. Period.
But does it have to be the right ones who get to keep it?
Well, here's the deal. we're going to show you a little video now where you got the land. You got land. You got the White House working for you that gave you the land, and the United West, our organization, stands against what you're going to see, which is why we're doing the show on it through Trento Vision.
Yeah. They got the whole world
in
in
their
their map.
hands.
They got
The
the
whole
whole.
But I got to. I have to address. We got some emails and texts and all of that, and somebody wrote in and said, "Yeah, that's the picture." Show that. Go ahead, show that.
What is that?
There's a movie series out right now being shown on History Channel.
Now, this is reported by the Huffington Post. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
not us.
No,
This
no,
is
no.
not
Oh,
us.
is that the Bible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the movie, The Bible.
And the character played by this gentleman is?
Barack Obama.
I don't know. Who's the character played?
Barack. Yeah, I'll tell you. But what you're looking at on your screen and what we're talking about for those of you driving in your car, we have a picture of Barack Obama on my right, and on the left is Barack Obama. Okay, on the left. But the left happens to be the character from the movie The Bible, and
Right.
the Bible has some fabulous.
I heard the fight
Samson,
scenes are great.
Moses, all these guys.
yeah, I hear
Which one is this?
Lots of loincloths.
This is the one on History Channel. This,
I only watched for 5 hours on Sunday.
No, now is this Moses or Samson or David or
None.
who's this guy then that looks exactly like President Obama? Looks like a twin. Diabolos?
Diablo.
Is that the Beelzebub?
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub. Oh my word!
Oh
If
no,
you're
the
looking at your
Prince
screen-
of Darkness.
I'm getting goosebumps. I'm telling you, President Obama
It
and
looks
Satan.
exactly. If you can't, you got. One thing you do have to go home and do, and this is totally by accident.
Yeah.
This is the Huffington Post reporting this, not us, okay? Huffington Post.
Yeah,
when
and
you
they're
look-
on Obama's side, by the way, in case you
Right.
don't know.
And we're looking at this, and we pull up the pictures, and we say, "Oh yeah, come on, yeah, you're really stretching it on this one, right?" And you pull up the picture, and you're going, "Oh my god!"
Hey, Mark, in your spare time, Mark, just take that hood, right?
and put it over Obama.
Yeah,
and
or
really,
stick his face in there, and let's compare it like that with a hood on. And the same background. You will not know which
That
is
is so eerie.
That is I mean,
Racist.
That is extremely creepy.
I mean, it's the nose, it's the lips, it's just like he looks older. I do have to say,
older,
he's a
yeah,
little bit
little-
older, and minus the little what the growth on his face, I don't know, but
mole or whatever.
yeah,
Room of
but
racists.
it's really like, oh my god.
That is spooky. Okay, so we have Obama and Satan. You pick who is whom up on the screen, but I want to address one issue before we move into the video and deconstruct the video. Ben Rhodes. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ben Rhodes first. Somebody wrote in and said, "You guys are hypocrites. You all complained that President Obama never took the time to go to Israel. Now he's going, and you're complaining that he's going to Israel."
Okay.
Okay, when did I complain that he didn't go?
Oh no, we've all complained.
No, I did. I said it says he's never been. He's never taken one day to go over to see you. I mean, I could.
Yes, he did.
No, before.
No, during
the election.
Oh,
no,
Yeah.
as president.
As president.
Yeah,
he's never
my
gone over there,
complaint
right?
my complaint stems from 2009 when he kicked off his world apology tour in Cairo and visited,
All the
several
Muslim stuff.
all the Muslim countries and didn't go to Israel when he was in the
Yeah, but what about the
neighborhood.
complaint? I
But
mean-
then this is a guy who has to take a flight. Are you kidding me?
Is this
From Israel to Jordan?
Is this a legitimate criticism of us that we complain he doesn't go, and now when he goes, we complain when he does go?
Well,
Okay,
if he
the
would-
complaint was not just that he didn't go. The complaint
He
was that he
Israel.
refused to recognize Israel as a unique ally of the United States and express the appropriate gestures towards that ally. That
while
is
on
what
this
the
apology tour.
that
in
is
Egypt.
what the complaint is. That's why he should have gone, and he didn't go. And I don't think he's going now to express the sentiment that Israel is truly
And plus,
a
he was
unique
right.
ally.
Well, the reason we were complaining about that, he went to every Muslim Brotherhood area country and completely blew off Israel. And it's not like you got to go 15 million miles to go over to Israel while you're in Egypt,
Right.
and you're Turkey and every other place.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, also, I think our complaint is more on policy than the position of his body.
that was one of my major complaints was that.
Yeah. But and the larger issue is we're not so concerned about the position of his body, whether it's in Washington or whether it's physically in Israel.
In fact, we would prefer it would spend more time in Hawaii.
And in a golf course.
It's just where his heart is.
It's his policy as it relates to Israel.
Yes.
And we knew that if he goes to Israel with his current policy, it's going to be disastrous for Israel.
Yeah.
So now when he's going there with his current policy, we're saying, okay, it's going to be
yeah.
disastrous. If he were to change his policy and go, then
that would be a different story. Then we would say,
sure.
yeah, there's a turnaround.
But the cat is out of the land is out of the bag. Okay, let's take a look at Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes just gave you that 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Did you find that boring or was that interesting?
It didn't do much for me, but
I thought that was very interesting. Or maybe I'm a little more in tune with these things. I don't know.
Well, you were a truck driver, so
yes,
you're into that
yes.
whole itinerary thing.
That's right. I had to fill it out. I had to fill out a logbook for the the New Jersey DOT.
actually, I
So
got an itinerary of
which
the
graphic
trip
are we working from?
in my
None yet.
email from the Jewish Federation of South Palm Beach County.
Well, Ben Rhodes, I want everybody to see him and hear him. He's 35 years old. He is with Samantha Powers and Valerie Jarrett. These are the people.
Susan Rice.
And Susan Rice. These are the people that are impacting everyone's life in the world.
Brennan,
This kid is significant.
Hagel.
They're at a second. They're important, but they're heads of entities now, organizations. The power around Obama are his advisors because they're going to tell him what to tell
Valerie Jarrett.
everybody else. So Valerie Jarrett, born in Iran, Samantha Powers, communist father,
And
Susan
communist
Rice,
herself.
yeah, and now Ben Rhodes. These are the people impacting every moment of our lives in terms of internal and external foreign policy. There he is, picture of him by the Hamas flag. What the heck is that thing? Looks like the Saudi flag.
That's a Saudi flag.
And he's very sharp. Now let's go to a little bit about his not his video yet, but the New York Times. You can.
I got it.
All right, you can put that up. New York Times, Ben Rhodes, worldly Ben Rhodes. Let's take a look at that.
Good.
Is that it right there?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Let me get it here so I can see it in our high-tech Satan. I'll get that Satan off of my screen here, that guy. Worldly at 35 and shaping Obama's voice. All right, before we get into deconstructing his video, the itinerary and how he presented Israel's official White House policy, which is astonishing. Oh, we have to get Mark, too, on the line. As President Obama prepares to visit Israel next week, he is turning, as he often does, to Benjamin J. Rhodes, 35-year-old Deputy National Security Advisor with a soft voice, strong opinions, and a reputation around the White House as the man who channels Mr. Obama on foreign policy.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
He is instrumental in crafting the Obama Syria policy, which is to arm and equip the Syrian Free Army to fight against Abbas and have another Libya basically in Syria. He was he wrote the Cairo speech 2009.
Oh, that's a wonderful speech. What do you think of that
Yeah.
speech?
I love it. In fact, I was invited, but I could not make it.
Also, he was according to this article, Mr. Rhodes helped prod his boss to take a more activist policy towards Egypt and Libya when those countries erupted in 2011. But whether or not he changed his mind after September 11th, 2012, and the embassy burnings of the flags in Cairo and the Benghazi massacre at our mission is to be undetermined.
Yep, undetermined. He's the son of conservative-leaning Episcopalian father from Texas, Okay, well, Episcopalians.
A conservative Episcopalian would be what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what does that mean?
We're all liberal, most
Yeah.
likely, from Texas, so maybe, center left somewhat, and a more liberal Jewish mother from New York.
Oh, gosh.
So he's Jewish, his mother's Jewish, grew up in
Yeah.
a home where even sports loyalties were divided, and he worked for Giuliani very briefly in '67. He was a writer, living in Queens on September 11th, was deeply impacted by watching the Trade Center come down, moved to Washington, and there began his career as a writer and policymaker, and now he is at the seat of the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Ben always holds on to the pen because of his close personal relationship with the president. Ben can always make policy through the speeches and statements made by President Obama.
Brilliant.
So when you look at this video, this is President Obama's policy for the nation of Israel, and they have not repudiated this. So, Mark, let's roll the video, and we're going to stop at a couple of places. Once again, Ben Rhodes laying out the itinerary, but there's something unique and dramatic about this itinerary, and here we go.
Hold on. One, keep talking.
There's something unique and dramatic about this itinerary, not because of what it shows, but because of what's missing. What's missing?
What's missing? Where's Waldo?
Next week, the president will make his first trip as president of the United States to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan. On this trip, it'll be an important opportunity for him at the beginning of his new term to meet with the new Israeli government that was just formed to discuss a range of issues that we cooperate on, as well as to speak directly to the Israeli people. He'll also have the chance to meet with the Palestinian leadership and the King of Jordan, King Abdullah. When we get to Israel on Wednesday, the president will have...
Put the brakes on. Okay, we got a little problem here. When we get to where?
That's the
When we
map
get to
that they
Israel.
opened the
That's
video
the
with.
map. When we get to Israel,
Yeah, put that back up. Let me see that.
when we get to Israel,
There we go.
now understanding if you can see it, the mouse is rolling over the Mediterranean Sea.
No mouse.
Well,
Oh,
you
there
can
it is.
see-
Okay,
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
see it's
cursor.
rolling over. That's gray area to the left, and supposedly this dark blue area that they're drawing is the area of Israel.
It looks so small.
So something happened to it.
It got a gap tooth.
It's got a big old gap tooth in it, where Judea and Samaria are missing.
Where did you put it?
Well, the Golan Heights is missing.
The Golan-
Northern Israel's missing.
Somebody took a bite out of that.
Took a bite out of Israel. What is that little? What's that little dot thing in the top right-hand corner of that graphic? The video.
Oh, that says WhiteHouse.gov.
Oh, that's the logo for the White House?
That's
That's
White
the
House.
official
That's
White
the
House map for Israel.
That's the official White House map of Israel. You know, it'd be as if you took the United States map, okay, and you're discussing Mexican policy,
Yes.
and you whacked off Texas,
And Texas is gone, and you go.
and half of California, and half of in the southern part of the United States, way above the Rio Grande.
La Raza, man.
And you're talking about your outreach policy to La Raza.
Okay, so that would be the similar situation. This particular situation for 25 minutes. We got to call Mark and
Yeah,
have
we
him
got to call him now.
Weigh in on this. He's
Yeah,
available.
I
He's
can't
standing by.
Do the map and
Want me to call him?
Okay.
I can call him.
yeah, but you're not.
But you won't be
Oh,
able
he's
to
going to
hear
Skype
him.
in?
That was the
Okay.
plan.
What's the Skype deal?
Well,
Just
just
tell
go
me.
on. Go on.
Okay.
We'll bring it up.
Mark, if you're listening.
Well, I will. Take
Okay.
care of it.
No. I'm talking to the other Mark.
We're coming after you, Mark. We have
We are coming to get you.
We need a man who makes maps. That's what we need.
That's what we need.
How about the map man?
The map man.
We're going to bring the map man. Put the map
Oh,
back
I
up.
should have
please.
brought that map that big one, the big poster board that we
No,
have
no,
I have in my
we,
car.
We have graphics. We have graphics in
Okay.
there. Mark made us
All
some
right.
maps. Mark Langfand, our good friend, who is known as the Map Man,
Yes.
he is going to come on in a second and tell us exactly what's going on. And
A few
for
seconds.
the listening audience, for those of you who are watching, that little blue area, as Mark was just showing you, the big dark part, screen left, is the Mediterranean Sea, and Israel butts up against the Mediterranean Sea. The outline of Israel is not the outline of Israel that President Obama is visiting. This is the outline of Israel, not in 1967. This outline predates the 67 war. If you remember, Israel had a little like 8 or 9 miles around Tel Aviv area, central Israel, until they were attacked by 6 or 7 Arab nations in 1967.
I think this is the 1949 armistice.
This is going back to the 48, 49 to end that first conflict.
This is fantastic
So
news.
that's why I'm saying when people say, return to 67 borders, what that really means is the 49 armistice.
Which doesn't have the Golan Heights,
Which
which
doesn't
were
have the Golan
secured
Heights.
from Syria, and northern Israel isn't there, which was secured from Lebanon in war, and what's called the West Bank, Judea, Samaria isn't in the White House map. This is insane. This is
Not to
completely
mention
insane.
the Sinai.
The Sinai, well, even though that was given back. Oh,
Ooh.
that's pretty cool. Okay, you are in the midst of,
Wow.
we got a message from Israel, I think, coming as we're speaking.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Mark, are you there?
Yeah, here it is.
He can't hear us.
Oh, I got the volume off.
Hi, Mark.
Okay,
How
there
are
it is, there it
you?
is. Okay. You should be coming through. All right.
Are we coming through?
Yeah.
You
Loudly-
sound good.
Loudly and clearly.
Do you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
I don't see you.
I don't
Well,
see
I
you.
can see you, but nobody else can.
Yes.
Well, I'm actually going to do something even more advanced.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I'm
great.
going to put a picture. I'm going to put a picture of the maps on the.
Well, hold on. Just give me a second. You're getting a little too high
Okay,
techy for me.
you need to talk while you're doing some tricky things so we can still.
I'm going to do something tricky, I think.
All right, let me.
Okay.
Are you going through your email right now, Mark?
Yeah, but I'm going to do something tricky.
All right, let me.
Okay. All right. Well,
Everybody be quiet for a second. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, that's it.
we are hooking up with one of the country's experts on the geography of Israel,
he's got it.
Mark Langfan. Has been
Okay, so
working.
you're perfect.
Hang on, Mark. Can he
Good.
hear me?
Okay, thank you.
Mark? Can you hear me,
So-
Tom? No, he can't hear me.
Yeah, you can hear
Okay, hang on
Yeah,
one
I hear
second.
you.
Let me set you up. Hang on, he's all excited. Mark Langfan, whose father is Bill Langfan, who we're going to bring on a little later.
it. Mark, you have
Tell
to
him
quit
be
talking.
Yeah, tell him to be quiet.
Mark, we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on the radio.
For the sake of our listening audience, we have 42 things going on. We're patching people in from different parts of the country, but these are experts that will assist you in understanding the severity of the situation before us. When the White House presents an official document that excludes the land of Israel, it sends a signal from Allah to 1.3 with their policy to force Israel back, not to 1967, but as Mark will explain, even before that. So we showed you Ben Rhodes and his video. Now we have one of the world's experts on mapping, on topography, on geography.
I think he's the only one who does this.
I think he is to this extent, where he has done extensive work on the geography from a political, from a military, from a economic point of view. And now let's turn it over to Mark, and you're going to have to talk to him because Mark,
Right.
he can hear you.
Yeah,
a
he can
little
hear
bit.
you better.
Okay.
Oh, there
All
he
right,
is.
there you go.
Wow.
All
This
right,
is
well,
slick.
this is the scoop. If you take this map that was on the White House website, and you could see the whitehouse.gov,
Yep.
this was the map. This map here that I'm pointing to right over there,
Yeah.
that's their map.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're what for the listeners, what Mark is pointing at is the map that was in Ben Rhodes' video.
Can you make that a little louder, please, and close the door? So this is the map.
And get me a cup of coffee. Get
This
ahead,
is
Mark.
the map that the White House put on their.
Put on their website. Right.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'm going to show everyone the map on the right, this map over here. This map is the APAC map, which is bad enough. Don't get
That's a 67
wrong.
map. 67 map, correct?
That's the 67 borders, right?
All right. Which we have gone
Map
ad
now.
nauseum about.
Let him just go.
Yeah,
Let
go
him go on.
Okay. So now the key is when you overlay the 67 map on a map, you can see the actual areas where the 67 map is bigger than the Obama map. You see these areas?
Yeah.
These areas, you could see, I'll make it a little bigger for you.
Right.
If you look at these areas, you see that
It's a lot bigger.
Jerusalem is not in Obama's map. And the North
Well, we're gonna-
Bank is bigger.
All right,
that's not
Mark, you're doing too many things there on the stuff, and we're losing the audio. a
Yeah,
little bit here.
every time you
So- so-
move
so-
your body, we lose
Well, no,
your
well,
audio.
no, but
Oh, okay.
I'd
So,
rather just have if we can get rid of the signals, we can the video signal on your end. We can actually hear your audio better with your picture. I don't know. I don't know if you can just get your camera off, but anyway. But
you don't want to. You don't want to see my. You don't want to see the maps.
No, we don't want to see your ugly face, and we want to see the maps.
You want to see
There
my ugly face? Okay.
No.
There, you
no,
see
no.
my
I want
ugly
to see the maps, not your face.
No, if he doesn't move things around.
Yeah, if you don't
If
move
he
things
does-
around. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait a
just
sec.
just
Put
put
the
it
other
back
shot,
up. Yeah,
yeah, put the
put that other shot back up.
Okay. So I won't move, and I won't do.
Yeah, don't move the maps around.
I won't move
Lips
anything.
only, lips only.
Yeah. Okay. There you
Okay.
go.
All right.
So
Okay. Actually, I can pull that one up. There we go.
Okay, so
Now, go ahead
Mark
and
was
talk.
Mark was just saying that on the current White House Obama map, Jerusalem isn't in there. Is that correct?
Jerusalem is not in there.
Jerusalem is gone.
Okay, so they took Jerusalem out of the Democrat platform and out of the White House map.
And,
Right.
and also, if you look at the top of the border, much of Judea in the top is actually.
Oh yeah, much of Judea,
Which is right here at
out, and Samaria
Down here
is
below.
Wait,
much
let him
bigger.
talk. Yeah, you talk and Mark. Who's working the cursor?
I'm working the cursor. I'm following
Yeah,
along.
follow
with
him. Yeah, go ahead. You
But
talk.
the only
Mark
reason I'm
Langton.
trying to say it is because he keeps breaking up, and I'm
I don't
trying
think
to,
he will now, though. I think
Okay.
if he doesn't move this stuff around, try
Okay,
it again.
Try it again, Mark.
Okay, so Jerusalem is out, and the Northwest Bank becomes much, much bigger, and the Southwest Bank becomes much, much bigger, and he totally loses the Hula Valley, which is on top,
Wow.
which is the north, the north up here.
Yeah.
So he loses the. He's given away the Hula Valley for Golan Heights. That's totally not part of Israel, even though they annexed Golan Heights. Israel annexed the Golan Heights. That's out, but the key is Jerusalem is out.
Bye bye, Jerusalem.
Al-Quds!
Bye-bye. And he's made, and so everyone just understands, he's made the 9 narrow miles about 3 narrow miles.
Unbelievable.
And top of the 9 narrow miles is the one right to the
The
left.
9 narrow miles is between
Right here, where I'm,
Halkilia and the Mediterranean Sea.
I mean, you can barely get a road up and through there now.
He's
Yeah.
now made it just not 3 narrow miles.
He just ended Israel.
Yeah, well, Israel, you don't got the Golan Heights, you don't have Jerusalem.
Now, talk about your map to the right and give them a comparison. Now, this is just the 67 borders, which is not as
There's
bad.
the 67 border.
This is not as
He's
bad
made it
as.
worse than the 67.
So tell them a little bit, and look at the Israel airport, Tel Aviv, and all that, where your little rockets are launched.
Yeah,
out there.
all of those are under Katusha Ryer. Here, in Obama's map, you don't have to worry about Ben Gurion because it looks like Ben Gurion is part of the new Palestinian state. You don't have to worry.
The airport is part of the new
You don't have to worry
Palestinian
about.
state.
Oh, the airport is actually in the new Palestinian
Yeah,
state.
yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
It's,
Well, they can just walk up
in
the.
practically.
a new Palestinian state. So he solved my father's problem with firing Katyusha rockets into the new Palestinian firing Katyusha rockets into the Ben Gurion airport, because now Ben Gurion airport is part of the Palestinian state.
Mark, let's
And
cut the
as the
video off and
Palestinians
let's talk to him a
fire
little bit.
Katyusha rockets in
My
there.
video.
See if we can
That's
cut
the future Arafat airport.
Can't.
Yes.
You're going to lose the maps that he's showing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the maps and everything. Let's just talk to him about.
Okay.
We've seen it.
Okay.
And
So-
you
so-
have the 2 PDFs you could put up.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Tell him what to do.
Yeah, Mark, go ahead and kill the video. We'll just talk to you on audio.
I'll
Okay.
pull the video.
There you go. Yeah, that's a lot better.
And we'll buy you a better computer.
No, we won't.
No, we won't.
Sorry, Mark, but there's other people in line ahead of you.
Oh, so you're ahead of me, CJ?
I'm totally ahead of you.
Cut all the video and just.
All
keep
right.
the
He's
audio.
fine like shit like this.
All right, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Why? Why did the White House put this graphic out?
It was a mistake, Tom.
I think it may be.
Obama has been consistent that he wants to push Israel back to the 1967 borders, and these maps are consistent with the 1967 borders, plus or minus,
Minus.
minus and minus. And so it really is what he's been saying. I don't think there's there's not a meaningful difference, because Jerusalem, let me tell you what the real fraud. The real fraud is when they say an undivided Jerusalem. They say an undivided, what does an undivided Jerusalem mean?
Well,
It doesn't mean an undivided Jerusalem under Israeli sovereignty. They don't say that. They don't say an undivided Jerusalem under Israeli sovereignty. They just say we're going to have an undivided Jerusalem, which, by the way,
it's part of the Palestinian
they want
state.
an undivided Jerusalem also.
Say that again.
The Palestinians will say they want an undivided Jerusalem also. But the whole issue is not whether it's undivided. The issue is whether it's under whose sovereignty it's under.
All right, hang on 1 second. We have several questions here. CJ, Mark, and then I have a
I
question.
think Mark
Yeah.
wanted to go.
Yeah. I'm going to come about this from a technical angle, okay? And think about it in this fashion, okay? You're the guy who's going to put up the graphic presentations to this speech, okay?
Ben Rhodes or the
For
guy
Ben-
before Ben Rhodes?
No, the Ben Rhodes speech.
Okay.
Because this is what's in
This is where the map was
He
introduced.
had to approve.
He had to
was
approve
on
the
there.
map, okay? Now, I'm the
Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes did.
Keeping that in front of everybody.
And they
You're
have
right.
Obama's
unlimited
Israel
resources.
point man.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. And understand, I'm getting paid, buku bucks to do stupid stuff at the White House for graphics, okay?
No, you mean you or Ben Rhodes?
Me, as the
Oh,
technical person.
you're the guy
I'm
working with Ben Rhodes. Okay,
I'm the tech
It's
guy. Like I am with you.
All right, this is very
amount
important.
of money.
But yeah, but this is a very important point.
Okay.
So first question I want to ask, okay, when you talk here, what graphics do you want? Okay, how do you want the graphics displayed? Okay, how do you want this? I mean, every technical person will do that. And they said, okay, when you talk about Jordan, what do you want to have displayed? Okay, you want to have the map of Jordan? Okay, if you want to have Israel displayed, you want to have the map of Israel displayed? He goes, yeah. Okay, well, there's a lot of different maps of Israel. Which ones do you want displayed, sir? I mean, these are normal questions.
It's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I said, and I'd ask, which map do you want me to display? He goes, well, I go, well, this is actually, because as a technical person, as an artistic technical person, I'll know the exact map of Israel and the exact 67 map and everything else. Especially that this whole dispute is quote unquote about land. I'm going to be hypercritical as a technical person to get this exactly right, because I don't think
you don't want
anything screwing up.
Yep. Right. Okay.
So what map do you want me to put there, sir? Well, here I want to go back to the predate lines of. Are you sure about that, sir? You know this is probably going to come back and bite. No, just go ahead and do it. Okay. I would do it. That's what I would do, and that's exactly what happened. Because this had to be approved from a graphics technical point of view.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you know this,
No
and you know this
question
too by
about
doing
that.
maps, Mark. You know what technical detail goes into putting up maps. You know what exactness has to happen on this. So this is not an accident. This is like This is a, precise identification of what Israel is to the Obama administration.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a deeper point here, in that there's a fundamental difference between this trip to Israel and Obama's trip to Turkey. When Obama visited Turkey, Obama gave a speech in the Turkish parliament, in the building itself, to the parliamentarians. When Obama goes to Israel, he's not going into the Knesset or the Parliament of Israel.
No. He's
And
going to talk to the
key
students.
difference, the key similarity is when Obama visited pre-Muslim Brotherhood Egypt, he did not give a speech in the Parliament of Egypt. He gave a speech in El Azhar University,
Well, it was
which is
Cairo.
and
Yeah.
it's the same concept.
Yeah.
When he visited Mubarak's Egypt, he did not recognize Mubarak and the government of Egypt as a legitimate government of and leader of Egypt.
Right.
He does not recognize Netanyahu and the Knesset of Israel as the legitimate government of Israel.
Right, and the reason for that is he does not believe that there can be a legitimate government of Israel. That's that's
it's
the whole
certainly-
point.
They didn't say, oh well, can he address the Parliament of Israel in Tel Aviv? Okay, he clearly does not recognize the Parliament of Israel on Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, where, by the way, according to the partition plan, Jerusalem was not supposed to be part of Israel's partition.
Okay.
It was
Mark,
supposed to be a... Yes.
yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to be asking you about because you're the map expert. If you could just briefly compare the current White House map with the other map, with the map that Israel would have had if the arrangement with the quartet that was started under Ariel Sharon, if those agreements had actually come to fruition that President George W. Bush worked on for several years, and compare that to the 97% giveaway of the West Bank that was offered to Arafat that he turned down, what is the difference in sizes here?
Probably close.
Well, the key delineation is the 67 orders. Now on the Sharon plan, Sharon never really came out with a West Bank map that gave away anything that I know about. What Sharon did was Sharon expanded areas of A, B, and C, where he expanded areas of A, and what he did was he took some Israeli settlements out of northern Samaria.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm trying to get to, is
And
that
so
this
he
was
enlarged-
this was the roadmap for peace that was U.S. policy for a good 8 to 10 years. And all that has gone out the window, and it seems that nobody has noticed that.
Oh, there's a bigger one. That everything up to Obama everything up to Obama was based on Resolution 242.
Right.
There was always a saying that Resolution 242 is the basis of the peace process. Now, what 242 exactly said was not just that there would be a little land for peace or whatever. It had two very important planks. The first plank was that you would have defensible borders where there would be a defense. I don't have the exact language in front of me, but the key second part of 242 said all claims in any final peace settlement under 242, all claims had to be totally forsworn. So before there was ever any land for peace. So the key point is that under 242, no matter how you read it, before there was any land, the Palestinians had to give up their right of return. And if they didn't give up the right of return, then Israel didn't have to give up any land. What the crazy Israelis did was
they went ahead with Oslo.
They went ahead with Oslo, and they put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Up at Resolution 242 said there was a cart and there was a horse.
Right.
And you only had to give up land if there were a total renunciation of all. What leftists did was said, don't bother us with common sense. We want to live a delusion. We want to give up land without getting any resolution of the Jerusalem issue, without any resolution of the settlement issue, without...
And this, by the way, was championed by none other than Shimon Peres,
Who
is the current president of Israel, and welcoming President Obama and giving him Israel's highest medal of distinction.
Distinction award.
Okay.
Oh man, is Mark still with us?
Yeah, I think we
Right,
lost him.
I think we lost Mark.
Yeah, we'll call him back.
No, we'll lot from him. Mark is an expert on these issues. 242, folks. When he kept mentioning that's Resolution 242.
UN Resolution 242.
Can we call him back?
Coming out. No. Coming out of the
call
United Nations. We're almost finishing this one. Coming out of the United Nations and
following the 67 war.
Yeah, this
Call
stuff
him
can this.
back if you want to talk to him.
Well, we'll just get a concluding
Okay.
thought.
Right.
This stuff gets a little complex for the average listener driving in their car or sitting at home because there's so many levels. And then if the Israelis wanted it, why are we opposed to it? So it's complex. We understand that.
Well, maybe President Obama is right. Maybe the Israelis don't know what's good for them.
Yeah, that's
after
very
all.
possible. That's very possible. Yeah, we've been there in Israel, and everyone just wants peace. Everyone simply wants peace.
Or a cessation of hostilities at any rate.
And the Western mind, which the Israelis, they live in the Middle East, but they have a Western mind. The Western mind says, if you give something up, you negotiate, you give a little something up, and the other person gives a little something, and you have peace. Ain't the way the Arab mind works.
No, not at all.
That little giving up is perceived as weakness. He gave me a little. Weakness. He gave me a little. I'll take some more. And we've seen this over and over and over. Benjamin Netanyahu, born in Israel, educated in the United States.
In the United States, yeah, went to high school and college here.
Extremely well. President Obama, born, I don't know where, educated in Indonesia and then in the United States. He's got a confused mind that's half Middle Eastern or half Eastern and half Arab and half Western. And his sympathies have always been on the pro-Arabic, pro-Islamic side. We in the United West, Trento Vision here, we're sounding the alarm on a daily basis to Islamic jihad globally, and then in particular, Islamic jihad in the United States, its dangerous cultural or stealth application through the Muslim Brotherhood. All of this stuff relates back together. Therefore, when we see the White House put out an official document. Yeah, those things there, that little dome of the rock. When we see the White House put out an official document that has a map that shows Israel that doesn't exist today, and if it did exist today, it would
Yeah,
be
this would
pro-Arabic.
belong
Yeah,
to the Palestinians.
that would. Yeah,
Yeah, that would, it'd all be gone.
It all,
Yeah.
And
all
also
be
the
gone.
airport would be gone.
So,
Well, you
so
know what? This means more than the airport.
So our show today, this specific show, is to lay a warning to all Americans and all Westerners and everybody in Israel and everybody listening to us all over the world through the internet and everybody driving that the next 5 days, President Obama's next 5 days in Israel, and we're going to detail some of this in the next hour, and we're going to show you the champion, Mark's father, William Bill Langfan, who fought in World War II, who went through Normandy, who fought at the Battle of the Bulge, who helped liberate Buchenwald, a Nazi death camp. We're going to show you what his view is in a video that we put together. We're mailing it out all over the place today.
Which is eerily similar to the views of our mystery guests today in the bunker.
Yeah, and the irony of this, we had a different show planned for today.
Yeah.
But when we saw the White House put out this video,
Yeah.
and we just finished working for 2 or 3 weeks on a video that we were going to put out today to preempt President Obama going to Israel to trade land for peace, saying appeasement never works. We said, oh my word, we got to bring both of these elements together. The White House's blunder, which we know it isn't, because Mark just very succinctly, Mark Campbell laid out the fact that somebody had to approve those graphics, and we heard Mark Langfan lay out the fact that this is worse than 67. So, the alert is, what is President Obama going to do in Israel over the next 5 days? Why is he going? What pressure is he going to put on our best ally in the Middle East? How is he going to address the Iranian situation? We're going to talk about all of this when we come back. But Mark, we got about 1 minute left. Give us your closing thoughts on this this map coming out of the
Mark's
White
not
House.
on.
Mark's not on.
Oh, you talking about me? Oh, yeah, I'll give my
Yeah,
closing
you-
thoughts.
you-
Okay.
yeah.
No, it's just, this wasn't by accident. This wasn't by, I just missed it. This was an intentional message to the Arabic world. Say, hey, watch this. I'm going to put something up. Nobody's going to notice it.
This is what the Palestinians do in their textbooks for school children. This is what they do all over the Middle East.
Well, they're actually worse than the Palestinians. They actually do not even include Israel at all.
Look,
So
in
this was a
case
trial
anybody,
balloon,
in
you think? A
case,
trial
in
balloon?
case
Yeah.
anybody wants to know what the policy of the Obama administration is, that is the graphic illustration of it. Period. End of story.
And
I don't care what he says. I don't care if
And
he
this was an
visits
intentional
Yad
message.
Vashem or anything else. It's bull. He said what he's about. He said it since he's been president.
I told you
And
he was
he
Muslim.
just announced it to the world without having to say a thing, and he put Ben Rhodes out there
Right.
to do the video and show the
This is
map and announce the
completely
policy for him, so the Muslims wouldn't riot while he's in Israel and cause him problems on the
Interesting.
trip.
All right, well, we're going to end this segment right now on those
That's what I say.
frightening words. But serious stuff, folks. It affects your everyday life. Come back in just a few minutes. We're taking a little break. We'll be back at the top of the hour, and then we're going to dive a little more deeply into this and then show you a 91-year-old William Bill Langfan and how he takes to school President Obama on the geography of Israel. We'll be right back.
Good hour.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tom Trento, and you are about to meet an amazing individual who's a Jewish American patriot. William Bill Langfan, 91 years old, was a very astute teenager in 1938 in America when he knew that Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's trip to Munich, Germany to meet Adolf Hitler, to appease Adolf Hitler, was a mistake of historic proportions. Well, Bill Langfan today, through his life experiences, believes that President Obama's trip to Israel in March 2013 may also be a meeting of tragic proportions. Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Fine and dandy, thank you.
What are your primary concerns about President Obama's trip in March 2013?
That Israel should return to 1967 borders is a fatal approach to the Middle East problems.
We believe the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps.
All right, well, what do you think the worst case consequences could be of the Obama policy implemented in Israel?
All that we have to do is take Gaza and multiply it by many-fold, and we can readily envision what will happen. For example, they can start shooting missiles from right next to Israel proper. Their airport would be vulnerable 24 hours a day. The airports for their planes would become unusable with streams of missiles falling there. How a plane's going to take off? How a pilot's going to get to the planes? This is what troubles me, and the idea of going back to 67, when the Palestinians expressed themselves in their charter 3 years before Israel had the West Bank. They specifically stated unequivocally in their 29-clause charter that the establishment of Israel is illegal and void, and that they were going to engage in armed resistance until Israel was destroyed.
Do you really remember 1938 and the meeting in Munich?
Absolutely. I remember very vividly, and I do wish that I could remember today things that happened yesterday the way I remember things of long ago. I was arguing very vociferously that Hitler has violated Versailles. He has violated almost any human thinking pertaining to Jews. How could anybody reasonably expect a man of this type to adhere to any type of agreement?
Bill, how'd you go from a teenager arguing against Hitler to finding yourself in the United States Army as one of the liberators at Buchenwald Nazi death camp? How did that happen?
I was at university, and on December 7th, 1941, everything changed very, very dramatically. I went through basic training, and And the next thing you know, I was in Liverpool. And we stayed there for a while, and all of a sudden, buzz bombs started coming over, and we were in the anti-aircraft part of the Army, and we were shooting against buzz bombs. And it was quite an experience. Then we were on our way to Normandy, and we landed in around Saint-Lô, which was the Omaha beachhead, and we still had not broken out of the hedgerows. And a few days after we landed at Normandy, we broke out of the hedgerows and started moving through France very, very quickly. We were with Patton's army. And before we know it, we were in Belgium. And we were at the middle of the Battle of the Bulge at Bastogne. And then we started going east through Germany. And all of a sudden, one day, we wound up at Buchenwald. And it was something that was beyond my imagination, what they told me.
It appeared that most of the men and boys had died of starvation. They had not been executed. But the manner of death seemed unimportant. Murder had been done at Buchenwald. God alone knows how many men and boys have died there during the last 12 years. As I left that camp, a Frenchman who used to work for Havas in Paris came up to me and said, "You will write something about this, perhaps." And he added, "To write about this, you must have been here at least 2 years. And after that, you don't want to write anymore."
So you have been in Buchenwald, in a Nazi death camp, and you've seen that horror up close, that evil. What is your comparison between Munich in 1938, the appeasement that started this war, and a possible Munich situation in 2013? Okay, I President think we're on, Obama right? goes to Israel to pressure Israel
gotta tell me
to give up
something.
land for peace.
I see a similarity, and I feel a similarity.
All right, it's a little bit of Mr. William Bill Lang fan. We'll get to him momentarily. Yes.
I can hear our intro.
Yeah.
We gotta lock that
Yeah,
out.
so you need to wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, he's a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is okay. All right, I'll mind read. Hi, but we are on the internet.
We're on now.
Okay, we're on now. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento. Welcome back for our third of 3 hours. You're on TrentoVision.tv if you're watching the show, and we hope you are, because do we have stuff planned for you in the future? In fact, we're going to be having a little change in the format in the weeks to come, starting in April. We're going to have a very packaged, tight 1 hour show that you're going to come to one-stop shopping to get all your information on national security stuff, Israel, all of that. We'll tell you about that later on. But we have another hour with trying to figure out what the heck the White House is doing with official graphics going out, chopping Israel into pieces.
Back to pre-67
Geographically chopping them, and philosophically. Yeah, back to before 1967. For those of you just joining us at 6 minutes past 5 o'clock, the way this works, we all know, some people get out of work. You're not allowed to listen on WNN 1470 while you're at work, but you get in your automobile. The first thing you do is push that button to the right and listen to Trento Vision on WNN 1470. Today we've been talking about the 3-minute video that the White House put out about President Obama's trip to Israel tomorrow, laying out the itinerary, and it is it features. I think this is the first time I've seen Ben Rhodes in a featured position, even though it's a White House blog video. But he doesn't look very comfortable doing it. He's sort of a behind-the-scenes guy, but they're starting to push him out.
They're promoting him.
Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism here.
Yeah.
And then he pushed out this concept of a not even divided, of a sliced and diced Israel as a trial balloon to see if there's any pushback. I haven't heard one thing coming out of the U.S. Congress, either on the House side or the Senate side, saying, what the hell is this?
I love this balloon.
I haven't heard anything. Why do you like this, Imam Abdullah? It's Israel that's not Israel. It's just a land that can't even be defended.
Exactly. Precisely. Cannot be defended. It is only a matter of time.
I thought you people want peace.
We do want peace with no Jews.
Okay. If all the Jews left Israel,
yes,
they're all out of it, they go back to Europe or whatever.
Yes.
Are you happy?
No.
For the most part, I mean, eventually we will track you all down, but
what do you want after Israel?
They're getting eradicated from Europe too.
Yeah, there was a very wise, I believe, a Salafi or a Muslim Brotherhood that said it would make it very easy if all the Jews just went to Israel because it would make them easier to kill. But this, getting the land back, I thank to Mr. Obama very, very much.
And don't forget that means they have to get rid of all the Christians too.
That's already
been happening. And they have to get rid of anybody who isn't Muslim anywhere in the world. And that is the definition of peace for those who practice Islam.
No opposition.
Peace to them means that the whole world lives under the caliphate or the imamate under Sharia law, period. That's what peace means to them. It doesn't mean the same thing as it does to us.
No opposition.
So when they say they want peace, they truly do. It just isn't the same.
Okay.
And they want a piece of all of us first.
All right, well, let's do this. At 9 minutes after 5 o'clock on TrentoVision.tv, if you're watching, you could also be listening on iHeartRadio, digital crystal clear audio. You could be watching on Tea Party Community. Hello, Tea Party Community. We love you guys, and more and more are watching the show every day. Yeah, more and more are watching the show every day, and we're going to be
and we
producing.
appreciate how they're really expanding beyond domestic, national, economic issues, and really starting to focus on national
Jihad,
security
on Israel.
issues.
Yeah, these things that are critical.
And you know, because it's all connected.
All connected.
It's all connected.
And what's completely connected is the jihad on the university campus, as we've spoken about many times. We do have an update on the University of Central Florida situation. They had a press conference, and we got some highlights on it. One of the highlights is that
we actually have a video.
James, do we have a video? Okay. James Sivakakumaraman actually made a checklist, put a little checklist together, and he purchased some gun stuff, gun sights, some training on how to use gun sights. Just got it past couple of days. But of note, at the end of the checklist, guess what he had at the end of the checklist? The last thing he wrote after he went through this checklist. Give them hell.
Right.
He said he just wanted to kill as many people as he could, give him hell. We still don't know his motivation, but let's see.
This is an update from the Orlando Sentinel about just a little bit ago during the press conference.
All right, let's take a look.
His name was James Oliver, and last name Sivakumaran. He was a business major at UCF, a Tower 1 resident. He's been never seen by UCF Counseling and Psychological Services. He has not had any UCF student conduct issues. He enrolled at UCF from fall 2010 through fall of 2012. Records show that in mid-February he was not enrolled at UCF for the spring and had not paid for his housing, and so we had started the process of having him removed from the tower.
We found some notes and some writings that indicated that this was a planned attack. This individual had laid out a timeline and was laid out some of what we feel were going to be his actions. There were 4 IEDs in the backpack, and between the 2 weapons, there was a couple of hundred rounds of ammunition. Actually, the roommate was surprised. The roommate said that he had exhibited some antisocial behavior previously, but they had no reason to believe. They had never seen him with a weapon. They had never seen him with ammunition. They had no reason to believe that he was going to show any kinds of violence whatsoever. It could have been a very bad day for everybody here. All things considered, I think that we were very blessed here at the University of Central Florida.
This is the police chief.
With the amount of ammunition he had, I mean, let's just face it, one shooting here is bad enough, but multiples would have been just unthinkable. So anybody armed with this type of weapon and ammunition could have hurt a lot of people here, particularly in a crowded area as people were evacuating.
And there's a picture of the gun that he had up.
Mattress One, your mattress retail.
Yeah, get your mattresses, because everybody's going to name shoes. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that was the police chief at on the campus, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
Richard Berry.
University of Central Florida.
We know him well.
We still, interestingly enough, but in these investigations, this is common. This is the MO. We don't have a motivation yet. They haven't laid that out. Though they have gone through the checklist, and I would guarantee the checklist has some motivation in it.
Mhm.
Do this, do this, do this. And if he went through a checklist and put all this material together, probably it's very clear what his motivation is. And we have a wager going on with Mark. Mark thinks it was has a jihad element. You still jumping the shark on that one?
I haven't seen anybody take my $100 bet.
No, it's out there. No,
it's out there.
we
Come on.
we just don't. You
Yeah,
gotta find
I'm-
$100. You're the only
well-
person with $100 in here.
We're going to do it Muslim style. If we are right, we take his money. If we are wrong, there's no bet.
Okay.
Yeah, try
Like
that
the-
with
like the
try
land,
that.
like
Good
the whole
luck
land
with an
thing.
Italian bookie on that.
Yeah.
We want to take the land with a war. We lose. We don't lose anything.
That is true. The Arabs fight. We attack, and we lost. Okay, give us our land back. You can't take our land. Unbelievable. And the
Silly
world says,
Jews.
give 'em-
And billions of dollars in aid to
And-
rearm
and
us
say-
so that we could try it again
Yeah.
and maybe get it right the next time.
How stupid can we be? How
Well, I
stupid
don't
can
know.
we be?
We do some pretty stupid things in the
Well,
United
you know who-
States too.
You know who is not stupid? Ben Rhodes is not stupid. He was born in 1977. Graduated from Collegiate School, Rice University, and New York University. And he's listed in the top 40 under 40, one of the most prominent and powerful professionals in 2011. Here's a fascinating fact. You know what his brother? You talk about high achievers. You know what his brother does?
Tell us,
No,
Tom.
what's he-
David,
Tom.
David Rhodes. He's the president of CBS News.
Wow. I guess that explains all the 60 Minutes interviews.
I guess it does. Yo, David, Barack want to be on the show. There's a little connection there. CBS has been very, very sympathetic and supportive of the president. Ben Rhodes was the one who advised President Barack Obama to withdraw support from Egyptian leader Hosni Mubarak. Now, many of you know that I'm one of the authors of Sharia, the Threat to America, with such luminary national security experts as Andy McCarthy. He was the Southern prosecutor from Southern District of New York who led the litigation against the blind sheikh, who's doing 40 lifetime terms in North Carolina.
No, you never know. You never know.
You never know. We may trade him. General Jerry Boykin, one of the original members of Delta Force, the head of Delta Force for many years. Admiral Ace Lyons, Frank Gaffney, Claire Lopez, CIA, John Guandolo. We have spoken extensively. We speak every day, this group. Jim Woolsey, the former head of the CIA. We spoke extensively on the decision to remove Mubarak from the Obama administration and said, notwithstanding the fact that Mubarak was a ruthless dictator in many respects, We're concerned about the national security interests of the United States. And when you have, a den of vipers, one viper may be working with you and the others may not be working with you. And you play it safe in terms of national security policy. There was going to be a transition of power to his kids. And we've all learned now with this phony baloney Arab Spring that there needs to be an iron fist, as Saddam Hussein had ruled and others, on the Islamic jihadis. It's that simple. Well, let's see.
And don't forget also, Hosni Mubarak was originally invited to the White House when he was here for the general session of the UN, and due to many protests and what happened 9/11 in Cairo, that invitation was mysteriously and suddenly withdrawn and then not discussed.
But early on,
we did send them some F-16s anyway.
Early on, the president viewed Mubarak as his friend. But the point is, as a 32, 33-year-old advisor, he advised the president to remove support from a guy who held his word for 30 years with peace with Israel. Who is Ben Rhodes? Ben is euphemistically described, the United States military has described the U.S. military involvement in Libya as kinetic military action. We were there illegally. We weren't even supposed to be there. We were involved militarily. We were told, we weren't. And he says, my main job, which has always been my job, is to be the person who represents the president's view on these issues. So this guy is playing both sides against the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I only represent the president. When all the analysis is
he makes the policy.
He is
for the
channeling the president.
Yeah.
So this is a gentleman to be watched. Let's roll a little more tape on Ben, picking up from where we saw the slice and dice of Israel. Get a little, bit of a feel for
and then
him.
don't forget, leave time to go to Bill Lang fan.
Yeah.
1 second. You want to go back to the place where he was actually?
Right. Yeah, a little bit before we'll show the new and improved Egypt from Ben Rhodes' point of view.
Okay. Well, we're playing the video now.
And roll 'em.
Range of issues that we cooperate on, as well as to speak directly to the Israeli people. He'll also have the chance to meet with the Palestinian leadership and the King of Jordan, King Abdullah. When we get to Israel on Wednesday, the president will have meetings with both President Perez and Prime Minister Netanyahu, who he'll have dinner with, and he'll be able to discuss a range of issues, including the peace process, issues like Syria, Iran, where we're cooperating very closely with the Israelis. Then the next day, on Thursday, the president will have a chance to visit the Israeli Museum, where he'll see the Dead Sea Scrolls as well as an exposition of Israeli technological innovation.
Hold it there for a minute, Mark. Why is he going to see the Dead Sea Scrolls? Which is very cool, particularly for me, a theologian. Why would you want to go see the Dead Sea Scrolls? He's not going to the Knesset. He's not going to the Western Wall. Is he going to Jerusalem? Well, he's going to Yad
the last
Vashem.
time they sent someone to the Western
everything
Wall.
on his itinerary is just like if he was a tourist and he was going.
Very benign.
Okay, if you were just an American citizen or somebody who could be an American citizen and you were going to visit Israel, these are the highlights of your visit. These are the things that you would go see.
The spin we're getting from the White House spin meisters is that his visit to see the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Qumran scrolls that were discovered in 1948, ironically, it's a great story.
You don't think he's going to try to steal them, do you?
I don't know. What he's doing, and the Dead Sea Scrolls validated the history of the nation of Israel, filled a 900-year gap from when they were written to when they were found, and the amazing, I'm getting goosebumps, the amazing story is that the scrolls were exactly the same as the Hebrew Bible is today. The transition and transmission through the scribes, which if you've been in Masada, up on the mountain there, we were there.
Yeah, we were there.
Remember we saw the scribe in the little room?
Yeah.
Sitting
That's all
there.
they had to do all day, 24/7. Yeah.
And every letter has to be perfect and everything just right. Well, that transmission process of the text proved to textual critics, it's a science, that, oh my word, the historical accuracy of the nation of Israel is filled in. This gap is filled in by these amazing scrolls.
What I learned when going up to Masada and looking at the little cave they were in, everything like that, these scribes weren't just like people who just wrote stuff down like the journalist of the day. These were guys, this was their sole function in life, was to write down exactly what happened. So these scribes, to me, what I learned were actually more like photographers of the day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they just really got it 100% the way it was from then it got passed on down to the next scribe who did the exact same thing. Scribes are not like little writers. They are.
No, it's not that they're not just writers or calligraphers.
No.
There's a religious aspect and component to their work that they have to qualify for.
They're the hand of God in many respects. Yeah.
And they go in and they argue about what it exactly was.
Because they had to get
exactly right.
The slightest
error.
The slightest error will completely invalidate an entire document. It's the same thing when they make a Torah.
Right. And so they had not only did they have the scribes, they had the people over the scribes who verified the text, and it was a whole validation process. So it wasn't just one person doing it either. So,
well, what the White House and what the apologists for Obama is saying is the symbolism of President Obama's visit to the museum housing the Dead Sea Scrolls. They were found in the Dead Sea, which is fascinating. You're up here, and you go down all these roads 1,500 feet below the Mediterranean Ocean, which is totally bizarre.
Right.
And you go into this dry place down here, and you can't see my hand, down here. It's very cool. I mean, your ears pop as you're going down. And if you'd like to come with us, we're going at the end of September, beginning of October. We're going to Masada. We're going down that same road down. Well, right in one of those caves where the books were in jugs, and a little guy tending sheep, a young boy, threw a stone at a sheep into a cave, heard crack, and went and looked, and these jugs were there, and they found these phenomenal.
And we're actually going to have access to areas and people during this trip that regular tours do not have. They do not have access.
No. You got to come on this tour.
You can't just be a tourist and go to some of these places where we're going.
Save your shekels.
And I thought it was interesting about the jugs you're talking about. The guy actually didn't know what he had, and he went out there and he burned some of them for fuel.
Yeah. That's the way. Yeah. But anyway, you come on this trip with us. Save your shekels. You can go to. We'll have to give you information on that. We will in the days ahead. But the apologists and the spinmeisters for Obama said visiting the Dead Sea Scrolls shows that President Obama believes in the contiguous possession of the land by the Jews, in that the Dead Sea Scrolls have connected Jewish people to Israel for this now 900-year
Sure,
gap.
that's why he left them 3 miles of their country after he's done with it.
Contiguous history, but no contiguous country.
Right. And therefore, he's showing his belief that Jews own and live in the nation of Israel.
Minus Judea, Samaria.
Now,
and minus Jerusalem. Come on.
Now, the Indians in America used to say to the white man, "You speak with forked tongue," right? Methinks this administration and the dumb Jewish and Christian people that still support this president, it's amazing. He goes and spends an hour looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls. That shows he really believes in this stuff, but he puts out a map that slices and dices Israel. Give me a break.
Well, most people are ignorant of Israel in America, and it's they just think it's just all about land. It's all disputed about land. Who owns what? Who was the first there? Who was the last there? And that's all. It's all about land, which we have said repeatedly over and over again. This is about ideology. It's about one side wanting to kill Jews and wipe Israel off the face of the map.
In his itinerary to Israel, Obama's visit includes meeting with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, as a fun guy.
Oh yeah, nice guy.
Did his dissertation on the fact that the Holocaust never happened.
PhD in it, didn't he?
Yeah, PhD. And
How do you get a PhD in that?
Holocaust denial.
You go to Moscow
They
State
really-
University.
They really don't exist.
Did they offer that at UCF?
I think they do. He studied in the Soviet Union.
I think it's in the California University school system.
Where
What'd you get your doctorate in? Holocaust denial.
Holocaust denial. And he's the peace partner for the Jews in trying to.
He's the moderate guy.
Yeah, it's on. I got it right here. Did you try iHeart? How's iHeart?
I need to go to the car and
Here.
Okay.
iHeart?
Here. There, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, the keys.
Yeah, we're not going to throw it. That's going to
No,
knock
it's too
some
many
equipment
many
over.
things over there. Okay, we're throwing it.
There,
we
toss
go.
it.
There we go.
Oh, the catcher.
Yeah, I was a catcher. That's
son.
right. All right. I was a quarterback too. So
There you go.
Different games. I guess.
Wait, same concept.
Different games. Yeah. So Mahmoud Abbas, he's gonna go visit him in a separate.
No. He's not just visiting him. He's giving him 5.5 hours of time, which is how much time he's giving.
Yeah, equal time because
Fair is fair.
Because,
Netanyahu.
like we said yesterday, is these are both equal sides with equal disputes of land, with equal ideologies, with equal. That's the whole message of what. We're just going to go and treat them as equal as we should Israel.
And what is the problem with this?
Because one side wants to kill you.
Because one side is an illegitimate government led by an illegitimate person who's stealing billions of dollars in funds from the United States in order to
launching
wage
rockets.
war against our ally. And the other side represents the only democracy in the Middle East.
The Jews.
All right, listen. Let me go through this, then we'll bring Bill up. Hey, Bill, get ready, Bill. 91-year-old Bill Langfan up next, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to fly in a helicopter over the Israeli bulldozers, security barriers, and military deployment in the West Bank. Now, why do they have all that stuff there?
Yeah, to make it sound like
Yeah.
like Israel is imprisoning Palestinians.
Abbas told Russia Today on Friday last week, he told Russia Today that President Obama said several times he was against Israeli settlement. Israel's been making mistakes every day, and no one has pointed the finger of blame at them. He's going to tell President Obama that the Israelis need to shut down these settlements. The helicopter hop will limit Obama's exposure to ordinary Palestinians. And many Palestinians are very upset with the president. They want him to do more. So there are protests. They're throwing shoes at his picture. So all is not well in the West Bank. He's not the most favorite guy, President Obama, because the Palestinians thought.
Well, I guess he
believed-
smoothed it over with this map, though, didn't he?
Yeah, it's all
know,
good to go now.
I think that's part of it. Well,
They should
all
be
right.
very happy.
Let's sum up the map, all of this, and then we'll segue to Bill Langfan and camp on Bill a little bit because this is very, very important. All right, what do you think, CJ?
What do I think specifically
Yeah,
about?
take 30 seconds to sum up the Ben Rhodes video going
The Ben
out.
Rhodes video lays out the policy of the Obama administration. It's an articulation of their vision for Israel, for the Middle East, possibly only as a first step. John Kerry, John Brennan, Chuck Hagel are perfect architects to help this go through, and Ben Rhodes is the sweet poster boy for the message. And Susan Rice, who will become his national security advisor, and who knows who's going to represent us in the UN, who's going to be worse
Hey.
than her,
That's gonna
are
be
all
nice.
going to be part of the team to make this happen.
And what's the end state? What is the
reason-
end state? What do they want?
And the reason why is because somehow the United States is going to make it impossible for Israel to defend itself against Iran, and therefore there will be no choice but to let
Beginning.
these things happen.
Beginning.
Well, not from the whole.
That's my
intro
30
part.
seconds
Yeah,
on
we'll,
that.
we'll run the intro. That's pretty cool.
Well, you can't. It's radio. It doesn't work.
Oh.
We'll go right to the beginning of the interview.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah,
should show some of the interview. No.
Right.
Yeah, we'll show a little bit of the interview. Well,
Yeah.
the other thing works for the TV people.
Yeah, but we're on radio.
Yeah.
No, we're on both.
Okay.
But no, we can.
I showed the other part at the break, so don't worry.
Oh, okay, good. Big Joe Goldman, he speaks Hebrew. What's the end? I mean, when they're all in the same room and they go, what are we going to do with this crazy Israel thing? What's their end game? What do they say? If we can accomplish X, the problem solved, we've just saved the globe, let's get on with other things.
Well,
What's X?
The Chamberlain scenario. It's if we in the same attitude and the same history is what has happened because.
Well, just X. Give me the bottom line.
I am giving you bottom line.
The bottom line is to change the shift of power in the Middle East.
Well, actually, think about it from a touchy-feely angle. Okay, the same thing that was coming about before the summit with Hitler. Everybody wanted to avoid war, and what people really don't understand about that pre-war history before 1938 was there was a massive desire to not have another war to solve the problem, to solve what's going on. And so we're desperate to do anything to make this peace happen. And that's the reason, and what many people do not realize, Chamberlain was worshipped as a hero for solving
give me the bottom line. I'm looking at the clock.
I don't know.
Land
I think
for
the
peace.
bottom,
Land
no,
for peace.
the-
Land for peace. Okay. You agree with that?
But that's the
only,
idea.
I think
the idea,
only
okay.
as a stepping stone because I think that's not the end goal.
No, from the administration's point of view.
From the administration's
Would they be happy if they can convince all the Jews and Netanyahu and everybody else, give up the West Bank, give up the Golan Heights, give up this, give up that, and they go, okay, we'll do that. Will the United States be happy?
I don't think the United
the
States would be
administration.
happy because I don't think the Muslim world would be happy and stop with it there, and therefore it would be seen as a failure of the United States.
Well, so
and
what
they
is
would
the-
come after
so what
us.
is Obama's end
that's not possible. Of course, the U.S. Obama would be happy if they. Well, what are they going to do? Ask them to all go jump in the river one at a time, like they're walking into a gas chamber? Of course, Obama would be happy if they agreed to all that. Only that's suicide, Jewicide. You can't do it.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the consequence of the
I
policy.
understand
I'm
what
talking
you're-
about the policy.
Well, no. The idea is take what you can get out of this and try to get as much as you can get. Just like the map proved, okay? He said about the 67 borders before. That he's already laid that groundwork out. So now in the map that he just put out, he's laying out his next groundwork,
land
which
for
is a little
peace.
bit
Land for
more.
peace, okay.
Well, no, it's actually not just land for peace. The ultimate goal is to get rid of Israel altogether.
No, you think that's Obama policy?
I think it's part of steps. That's what I'm trying to
That's- yes,
say.
it's
It's
an-
just
let me
steps.
rephrase the
First,
question.
he
Let me
lays
rephrase the
out
question.
67 borders.
Let me rephrase the question.
Then he puts up the map that goes beyond what the
That's what I'm
67
saying.
borders
Let me
is.
rephrase the question. We're in the Situation Room. I'm President Obama.
Are you talking about Valerie Jarrett and President Obama?
I'm
what
President,
are they thinking?
I'm President Obama. We're in the Situation Room. You're all my advisors.
Right.
And I say, what is our end? What do we want?
Well, he'll never tell them because he has the idea what he wants to have.
In that room, play the role. We're in the room.
The
and
trusted
I-
advisors, they all on the same page.
And I say to the advisors, what would be our legacy if we could move on from here with Israel? What would we all be happy with as a policy that the Jews would agree to, and we'd say it's great? What is that policy?
Well,
Utopia.
Well, what we do is
The policy is Israel is left intact superficially, but with indefensible borders, so that pretty much ends Israel no matter what.
What about Jerusalem?
Jerusalem is
gotta-
gone.
Divide it.
Gone.
No, if
Gone.
you know what, it doesn't. According to the second map, it's gone. Okay, which they'll backtrack and justify that, but it doesn't matter because if you give away even this much of it, then the whole thing is gone anyway.
is to put Israel on
You
the
can't. You
defensive.
absolutely
Make them feel
cannot
guilty.
give away one speck of dirt of
You give
Jerusalem
an inch,
to
they take a
anybody.
mile.
Well, the
Strong horse,
Period.
weak horse.
But in what to answer Tom's question, in Obama's mind, Valerie Jarrett's mind, in the close confidential staff
Yes,
of Obama, is they want to get rid of Israel. That is their
That
ultimate.
is their goal.
That is
They
their
want
goal.
to end
if they,
Israel.
If they could make Israel disappear before they're in times,
And who knows?
no.
You know, maybe that's part of why he's going to Jordan.
All right, well, for all of you people out there following us, particularly those of you who disagree with us, all of you that disagree with us,
Which is a lot.
a lot of liberal rabbis and other people and
Now,
different
I wanna qualify
Jewish or
the
Christian organizations.
Liberal rabbis. We're talking about the socialist liberal rabbis, the ones who are so far into the Obama doctrine that they cannot even see that they. We're not talking about the JFK
All right,
Democrats. and stuff
no,
like
no,
that.
no. We
No,
need,
those are not liberals.
no,
Well,
we need to
Those
do
are
a.
classic
Well,
liberals. That's not the same thing.
Well, we need to make a distinction because we're getting some complaints about you're throwing all liberals.
When I
into
use
one
the word
type of-
liberal, some liberals that are kind of
Well,
with
then we'll
us.
just
No,
have to
there's-
say,
there's a
we
lot of
just have
liberals who
to
are with us.
distinguish between
Well,
modern liberals
And
and
classic.
classic
Yes, we
liberals.
will do that.
I call them socialist liberals and
All
JFK
right, we'll do a
liberals.
show on that because I think we need to put the record
No,
down on
because
that.
the classic liberals predate JFK by quite a bit.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just
they do. It's okay.
trying to give a visual.
Yeah, no. We'll do a show on that because I think we need to draw these lines, and then I want somebody to produce today the JFK liberal. I want to see
The archetype.
who is alive and well that could be the prototypical person we can point to. That person, he's the head of a university.
He's probably in the Republican Party right now, representing some, small congressional, congressional
It's
seat
called
somewhere.
Chris Christie. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. All right. So, it sounds like from my advisors, beside the destruction of Israel, we want land for peace. Let's take a look at a gentleman who's got a few more years than we do. Gentleman who in 1938, at 16 years old,
Right.
at 16 years old, this is a bright gentleman.
Yeah.
yeah, he's really
No, he just didn't
smart.
hang around. He actually got involved and went up and down the East Coast debating people.
In
about-
1938, where you can't just jump on, get in your Corvette and go someplace.
Right. They didn't have Corvettes.
He's
in
that's
1938.
right. That's why he couldn't get in it. He was running around the East Coast, doing debates and speeches on why Hitler should not concede to why Chamberlain and the French Prime Minister and the U.S. wasn't involved should not appease and concede to Hitler the land. And then a few years later, he got drafted, went in the army. Went through Normandy, fought in
Did he get
England.
drafted or did he sign up? I think he did.
He got there was
He
a
was in
draft thing where he
college,
signed
Well,
up.
yeah, but
and,
he wanted to go.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
wanted.
mean, because he was in college.
He wanted to go.
Well, here's the difference in the mentality. Everybody who was a kid, 16 or above, wanted to go.
Yeah, you're going.
You're going.
You're going to go fight the bad guys.
And you wanted to.
Yeah, now
So-
we have people that join the army that complain when they have to go to war.
Yeah. Well, he went through England, was in an anti-aircraft battalion fighting, went through Bastogne in Belgium fought in the Battle of the Bulge.
Normandy, the whole
Went through Normandy from England to France, Normandy through Belgium. And
Patton's Third Army.
Then went into it was with Patton's Third. Then went into the Nazi death camp Buchenwald, and helped liberate. Spoke to some of the people there, which dramatically changed his life.
He actually the only one who spoke Yiddish, so he was, yeah.
91 years old. Well, we had an opportunity. Our good friend, the Map Man, mapman.com. Mapman.com is Mark Langfan. Mark told us about his dad. He says, my dad's an interesting guy. And we started to look into Mr. Langfan, William Bill Langfan's story. And we said, oh, my word, this is a piece of
It's a
history.
fascinating story, right?
And it seems like Munich 1938 is Israel 2013. Let's take a look at this. Watch this. We're only going to show you, it's a 15-minute mini documentary. We're just going to show you a couple cuts here
And
and
it's up
there.
on the United West right now. Right?
Is it?
Well,
It should be.
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Here we go.
That's me. Oh, it jumped ahead. Sorry. Well, we should have audio, but we don't. What happened to our... what helped...
Langfan, 91 years old, was a very astute teenager in 1938 in America when he knew that Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's trip to Munich, Germany to meet Adolf Hitler, to appease Adolf Hitler, was a mistake of historic proportions. Well, Bill Langfan today, through his life experiences, believes that President Obama's trip to Israel in March 2013 may also be a meeting of tragic proportions.
Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Fine and dandy, thank you.
What are your primary concerns about President Obama's trip in March 2013?
That Israel should return to 1967 borders is a fatal approach to the Middle East problems.
We believe the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps.
All right, well, what do you think the worst case consequences could be of the Obama policy implemented in Israel?
All that we have to do is take Gaza and multiply it by many-fold, and we can readily envision what will happen. For example, they can start shooting missiles from right next to Israel proper. Their airport would be vulnerable 24 hours a day. The airports for their planes would become unusable with streams of missiles falling there. How are planes going to take off? How are pilots going to get to the planes?
It's a man-packed rocket attack on November 27, 2012.
In Syria.
In Syria.
Yeah.
This is what troubles me, and the idea of going back to 67, when the Palestinians expressed themselves in their charter 3 years before Israel had the West Bank. They specifically stated unequivocally in their 29-clause charter that the establishment of Israel is illegal and void, and that they were going to engage in armed resistance until Israel was destroyed.
Do you really remember 1938 and the meeting in Munich?
Absolutely. I remember very vividly, and I do wish that I could remember today things that happened yesterday the way I remember things of long ago.
What a sweetie.
I was arguing very
We'll play it
vociferously
another minute or so. And then we'll
that
come
Hitler has violated Versailles. He has violated almost any human thinking pertaining to Jews. How could anybody reasonably expect a man of this type to adhere to any type of agreement?
Bill, how'd you go from a teenager arguing against Hitler to... Yeah, that's a little taste of William Bill Langfan.
It's an exquisite
We-
video.
Right.
It's a very important interview. It's only 15 minutes. It covers a lot. You're going to walk away with a lot. You really, really need to watch this video.
And we are sending out a big email blast tonight. It's not totally done yet. And it's not up on the United
Oh, I
West
thought it
yet.
was.
We got to get that up. And but tomorrow it'll be on theunitedwest.org. You can go to the homepage, or if you get one of our emails, you got to watch this thing. And the timing will be great. We'll send it out tonight.
Yeah.
It'll arrive when the president arrives, most likely. And what were you gonna say?
What I want to say about, the Obama administration, Bill's video, what this visit is about, it's truly a big distraction. The Obama administration from the very beginning has felt and has acted on the premise that Israel is the source of instability in the Middle East and the world, and that the Israeli-Palestinian problem, if only that could be solved, would solve the world's problems.
Yep.
Now, that to me is like the shiny ornament that everybody is following around, and it's keeping everybody's attention away from the major threat to the stability of the world, which is a nuclear
Iran, yeah.
And nobody is really taking Iran seriously because they're sidetracked with issues of Jewish apartment buildings in Jerusalem when they should be focusing on ending the Iranian regime.
Yeah, but here's
and
the thing.
ending their nuclear program.
Here's the thing.
This administration links what's happening in Israel with what's happening in Iran and says if we solve the Palestinian-Israeli
course. Yeah,
crisis,
that's baloney.
then Iran will stop what it's doing.
Yeah,
Iran is not doing it because of what's happening in Israel. Iran is doing it because they are the Shias. They want to control the world, and they're fixing to have a war not only against the Jews and the Christians in Israel and in America, but they're going after the Saudis, they're going after the Sunnis, and that's
The
what
Salafis, they're going after everybody.
That's what the real problem is.
But you know, we're advocates, we're community organizers. We can say whatever we want to and do whatever we want to. Nobody's going to die if we say these things. These are the elected officials, the president and the heads of all the departments, and they make a decision, and people live or die. So, in giving a nod to them, giving a nod to even this administration in terms of its function as the only superpower in the world, addressing a significant problem, you've got to look at what the options are. When they look at the options, they go, okay, if we don't trade land, if we don't tell the Jews to trade land for peace, if we don't stop the settlements, the Arabs are going to just keep fighting them, and that's not an option. So there's no other option.
Yeah, no, there is another option. The option is we give billions of dollars.
Wait, he's got something there.
Fox News is a little bit behind this. They're playing the Obama comparison with the vid.
Oh, are they really?
Satan vid.
They're monitoring us.
They're
is what they're
monitoring
doing. Hey, Murdoch, send us a check. Oh,
Yeah,
by the way,
right.
if you'd like to donate to help keep this show on the road, go to TrentoVision.tv.
Send us money, Rupert.
That's what they're showing on Fox News right
Are they right now?
That exact picture.
Yeah. Well, because you get in there and you go, okay, there's no alternative.
There is
and the
an
Jews are easier to work with than the crazy Arabs, So what is the other alternative? What are they
The
going to do?
alternative is we give billions of dollars of aid to corrupt regimes that do not reform themselves, that do not try to democratize their societies, and we need to stop that because
That'll
that
never
is,
happen.
yeah.
Well,
no, you
both
said
will
there
never
was
happen, but
no.
yeah,
You
yeah,
said there
yeah.
was nothing we
Yeah.
can do.
Let me
We
hear it.
put all kinds of limitations, restrictions, and expectations on the Democrat side, on the democratic Israelis, and we have no expectations of the Palestinians ever fulfilling any
Okay,
of their
you're telling me what I know.
against
What-
them.
It's
fantastic, isn't
no, what we can do is we can say the money is cut off.
The money to the Palestinians.
The money to the Palestinians
Until
is cut
such
off.
time
The
as
money
what?
to any of these regimes
Then we
is
will
cut
start
off.
terrorizing you.
Okay, democratize your institutions, reform your education systems, stop the incitement in the media, and become a member of the legitimate first world.
Oh, you're such
if
a
you
hater.
want to do that, we welcome you. If you don't want to do that, then rot where you stand.
Oh, you're such a hater.
And that's it. And we will stand by our allies who may need to defend themselves against you, and we will crush you. And that's what we could do.
She's funny.
She's such a
She's
hater.
so funny.
God,
These
I'm
things
sorry.
will never happen.
what I
What
hear,
a
I hear.
hater.
1400 years we have not changed.
Hater.
Hater.
I'll let me modify my co-host here.
Hate.
Let me modify her belligerent.
Hated it.
Let me modify
Cállate.
losing control of the
Yes,
team.
I know. Once again.
Let me modify the belligerent the belligerent position you've just heard, because there's quite a bit I like there actually. The paradigm needs to shift, and I've been saying this personally, and we as an organization, the United West, has been saying, forget about peace, only security for the next generation.
That's the only thing that makes sense, Tom.
Yeah, when you have a generation, and we were in Israel last year, and we saw the materials that the the Palestinians in Gaza are using to educate their 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds and 10 years old.
Oh, Israel doesn't exist on a map.
Yeah.
You talking about a map? There ain't nothing there.
There is no Israel in their geography
But even though they
books.
don't exist, here's how you arm yourself and martyr yourself for the jihad to make sure you kill
So
them.
common sense. I mean, if you got a neighbor next to you in your home, and all he's doing is planning your demise, you know, and whenever you talk to him, he says, "I'm going to kill you. I'll figure out a way to kill you."
And he throws
Believe
hand
it.
grenades.
Yeah.
And he throws hand grenades over your fence every other day. You're like, dude.
And the neighbor across the street keeps telling you, "Just give him your garden. He wants your garden." And you give him your
Just
garden.
wants your garden, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
No,
then the
gave them
garage.
all the
I'll take your
gardens.
garage.
We gave them all the gardens, the hothouses, the greenhouses, the land, and everything else in Gaza. And look what a paradise they turned that into. A martyred paradise for Hamas.
And then he wants the garage, and you give him the garage, and your neighbor says, "Give him your garage, and everything will be fine." At some point, you have to face reality and say, "This is an evil individual who simply wants to kill me and has no desire, no interest, no anything. So why do I continue in a process to make peace when I really should have a process that makes security?" Now, Israel picked a little bit of this up after the Second Intifada, where they said, "All right, we gotta wall these people in, or actually, we gotta keep our people safe,
We
Wall ourselves in.
Yeah,
We have to wall ourselves in. We
they've
have
imprisoned
to.
themselves.
Oh, what
yeah.
did they say? Oh, we have to actually patrol our own borders.
Oh,
Yeah.
and by
We
the
have
way,
to have border checks. We can't have open borders.
I want to clarify something on this.
And
The
it's
a-
a fence.
The actual wall is not the wall. The fence is actually the wall, if you will. The wall is simply up there to stop sniper fire from them shooting at you coming across on the road.
But the point is, it's fascinating when you actually see that when you're there and you're touching this thing and looking at it. But the point is, they made a step in the right direction. They being the Israelis, saying we've got to emphasize security. I think now that was a tactic in an overall policy.
Which worked wonderfully.
It's working wonderfully.
It stopped all the terrorists.
Works wonderfully.
There has not.
I
been-
think
right.
they have to. The paradigm shift has to include the policy where Netanyahu and the leaders go, "The hell with this! You people are crazy, and until you change your whole society, we're not interested in peace." See, everything gets ripped up. Everything goes put over there. No peace. We don't want any peace. Not until you change, because you can't have peace if your mindset is always to kill.
Change your charter,
So now it's
change your
security.
behavior.
Now it's security, and
if you launch rockets at it,
You know?
we're gonna crush you.
and I'm sorry, it's gonna if we have to be the the thorn in the flesh of the world, so be it, because that's kind of what the
You know what?
how
But
this
they
whole
have the
thing winds
same
up.
affliction that we Americans do.
What's
If
that?
we just want to be loved and liked by everybody, and we
Yeah.
make stupid decisions based on that.
Well, we love you. We like you, our loyal viewers and listeners. But once again, it's Happy Trails times at a couple of minutes before
Wow,
the
that
top of the
went
hour
fast.
at 6 o'clock. We're going to give you a blow-by-blow, mile-by-mile analysis of President Obama's trip to Israel tomorrow. It is critically, geopolitically, and personally very, very important. We're here for you. We'll do all the hard work. We thank you very, very much, and we're saying goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Happy trails. Our new sign-off. Satan.